sounds like an SOS.
Holy whack, unlyrical lyrics, Andre. You're fucking right.
To the rap mobile. Let's go.
Lyrics, Andre. You're fucking right.
To the rap mobile. Let's go.
Bitches and gentlemen, it's showtime. Kari, lyrics, Andre. You're fucking right.
To the rap mobile. Let's go.
Bitches and gentlemen, maybe anywhere else in the world right now. So without further ado, I bring to you. You about to witness hip-hop in its most purest, most rawest form, flow, almost flawless, most hardest, most honest, known artist. Chip off the old block, but old Doc is hot. Looks like Batman brought his own Robin. Oh God, Saddam's got his own Laden. With his own private plane, his own pilot. Set the blow college, dome moon doors off the hinges. Oranges, peach, pears, plums, oranges. Yeah, here come my inches. Away from you, dear, fear none. Hip-hop is in a state of 911, so let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hell. So skip to your loo while I do what I do best. You ain't even impressed no more. You're used to it. Flows too wet. Nobody close to it. Nobody says it, but still everybody knows this shit. The most hated on out of all those who say they get hated on in 80 songs and exaggerated all so much they make it all up. There's no such thing like a female with good looks who cooks and cleans. It just means so much more. There's so much more people when you're rapping and you know what for. The show must go on. So I'd like to welcome y'all to Marshall and Andre's Carnival. Come on now, let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? You can even call collect the most feared duet since me and Elton play career Russian roulette. And never even see me blink or get the bus in a sweat. People stepping over people just to rush to the set just to get to see an MC who breathes so freely. Ease over these beats and be so breezy. Jesus, how can shit be so easy? How can one genre be so leavy? Turn on these beats and C's don't see me. Believe me, BET and MTV are gonna grieve when we leave off for cheesy. Can't leave rap alone, the game needs me. Till we grow beards, get weird and disappear into the mountains. Nothing but clowns down here, but we ain't fucking around here, yo Dre. Can I get a hell? Now let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. Has come to save the day. Back with his friend Andre. And to remind you that bullshit is not pay. Because and Andre are here to stay. And never go away until our dying day. Until we're old and gray. So until next time, friends. Same blonde hair, same rap channel. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming. Your host for the evening. Oh.
No, your host for the evening is Kari and Ricky. And we have Josh and Anthony. Dear God, what am I doing? Have I lost my mind?
Got a squad tonight.
Good
Oh yeah.
evening, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm super.
Man.
Thanks for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy to have you. I can't believe I have both of you at the same time. You have no idea how
This has
excited
gotta
I
be
am.
like a regular thing.
This is epic. Like, this is a record. I don't think I've been in a hangout with Josh and Anthony in a very long time.
Hello.
It's been
I'm
at least
psyched.
a year.
It's gonna be good.
You got the cream of the crop.
I
Kari, that's
do.
what it's
I
saying.
know. Well, okay. So, full disclosure, Leica was supposed to be joining us, but it's nearly
She's lame.
No, it's nearly 3. It's nearly 3 a.m. here. So
She's passed up.
she tried. She did try. So
You're catering for the American crowd, Kari. That's what you're doing.
I am. I'm trying.
Yep.
Well, the English don't know me quite yet. They don't know how to take me. just yet because all they hear is the southern accent, and they ask me if I'm Canadian. Why do people ask me if I'm Canadian here?
I get
It's
Australian all the
because you
time.
sound like when they say a boot, and like with their vowels are similar to yours.
No, I do not say boot. I say about, or I say bout. Not even close to boot.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's way different. She sounds nothing like a Canadian.
Yeah, that's what. Why is the stream buffering?
I don't see anything buffering here.
It's buffering on my end. Okay, let me turn all this crap off. I have my other laptop open, so that's probably not helping. Anyway.
The RIAA has claimed all monetization of your video, that's why.
Yeah.
Let me check it.
Yeah. After that
Probably.
Eminem thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was a remix, so we'll see. We'll see what I can get away with.
Yeah.
Let me
Either
check.
Eminem or Matoma.
I was thinking that, Josh, when she was playing, I'm thinking, man, if you had more subs, this channel will get taken down in a
Yeah, that's
heartbeat.
why I can still get away with it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I can get away with it. I don't know.
Usually the remixes will throw it off.
Yeah.
Not always.
Well, the last stream that we did, I played that what was it? Was it radio?
Oh,
No,
you
it was
played Audio Slave.
Yeah, Audio
You
Slave.
got slapped for
Yeah,
that.
I got slammed
No
for
time
that.
flat.
Yeah, they cut me live, so I cut it out. And the stream itself was awesome, and we covered a lot of great stuff, but it's completely locked down. It's like blocked to everyone right now, so I've got to go in and edit it. But
Yes.
so what's going on, Anthony?
Hello,
How have you been? Josh, how have
I'm
you been?
good, hon. Who goes first, me or Josh?
I asked you first, so go for it.
You did. I'm good, working hard in like real life.
Yeah.
You know, don't have much time for this YouTube stuff anymore, or even Twitter. I don't really go on that much. Only to slag certain people off, which is always a lot of fun.
Of course.
Shifty, have you started a YouTube channel yet? I know you were talking about it.
Well, he was going to, and then he decided to partner up with me.
Oh, what based on a Twitter poll?
No, not based on.
So I decided what I decided what I'm going to do, because I wanted, it wasn't so much as like the end result as far as like yay or nay. It was what's the ratio, and it was about even, which is exactly what I wanted, because it means it wouldn't be an echo chamber, but I also wouldn't be just like an empty theater.
Yeah, but all YouTubers have to start with that. You just have to start because you want to do it, and then if you get subscribers,
but I don't.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but like so like the reason I do it though, like the reason I'm considering it is it's only because I want to do something for other people. I don't care. Like I'm not going to monetize anything or do anything for myself really. So
Yeah, that's like me. That's like me. I don't
I
don't monetize any of this stuff at all.
Josh, how are you, man?
But like, I wanted to be like some kind of middle ground so people would enjoy it, because I want it to be worthwhile to people. Like if the content's going to be, either one of those extremes, then I don't see the point. So what I'm going to do now is I decided I'm just going to guest on various shows, or have this regular one, or maybe another one or something. And then I'll just have my own channel, and I'll just kind of centralize everything there. And maybe every once in a great while I'll do some like solo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Kari's production value so far.
Oh, that's all Wasky, honey.
Oh, I know it is.
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
He does some excellent work. He makes it interesting to look at a screen for however long. Oh, speaking of, I need to get the special thing going.
Josh, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Well,
Yes.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
busy.
never.
Go with the first answer. That's always always the most honest one. You're fantastic. Tell us why you're fantastic.
No.
What's going on?
I'm not fantastic. I'm okay.
Okay. So you're just being a little
Josh
bit
is
more.
all about 6 out of 10.
I'm so used to speaking in hyperbole that I couldn't tell you if I'm above a 6 or 7.
Hyperbole?
Yeah.
Hyperbole?
Hyperbole.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've picked up a bad habit. I've been listening to
Get
so
out of
many
the
people
Midwest,
say.
dude. Just
I've been listening to so many people pronounce it hyperbole. And I know it's hyperbole. And
Josh, I do the
correct it every
same
time
thing.
I hear it.
I do the same thing. The same thing all the time. I'll read it as hyperbole, and I'm like, hyperbole, you idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah. There's a lot of
I
dummies out
swear to
there.
God. So do you guys have this problem? Nobody, like all day, my phone will have like no notifications. As soon as we start this, I'll just be blown up.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like
I
not
don't have
even
that
related.
problem.
It'll be like my relatives or friends and stuff, and I'm like,
Mhm.
are you kidding? All right.
Well, it's because we do it later in the afternoon, so everybody's starting to settle down and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I just have
that's
to.
true.
I turn all my notifications and stuff down, and I send out a message saying I'm about to stream, so they know for at least 2 hours I'm going to be occupied.
I don't get notifications anymore.
I'm
Those
not-
days
I
are
got
gone.
too many
don't
tabs
either.
open. Like at some point, I'm going to screw this up. Just I got multiple computers and multiple tabs. At some point, I'm going to fail.
It's all right.
Just fair warning.
It's okay. We'll still make fun of you, regardless.
Also, what the hell's up with my icon? It's in the chat. That's some bullshit.
You need to fix it. Okay.
Lasky's in there. Hello, mate.
He's always.
What up?
He's always
Hey,
there.
where's our napalm and friend?
He's coming. He's coming.
You better be.
Oh, you mean in
Who?
in the chat?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's awake or not. He's actually been keeping a pretty normal sleep schedule, but he might pop up. Anthony, watch the stream screen on YouTube, and
Gotcha.
you'll see who
I've done this. I'm
who the napalm
I'm an
bastard is.
old hand at this.
Oh, no.
I like this background thing. That's pretty cool. Lasky do that too?
Yeah, all of this is him. Every bit of it.
Hey,
Yeah,
Wendell.
there's some cool there's some cool animations like on the floor and stuff like that. It's pretty neat.
I'm watching it. I'm mesmerized by it. I just saw Wasky fly. Not Wasky. I saw Wendell flying by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, if you
Nice.
keep watching, you'll see him
Josh,
again. You'll see him again.
did you get in an accident or something? What happened to your right arm?
Oh no!
I'm joking.
Who, Josh is?
Well, whenever you have to, whenever you have to,
ripped it off.
whenever you have to crop a picture. I mean, that's just the crop
Yeah.
that ended up. So
Well, I'm waiting on a certain like a Lou to have some artwork for me, and then we'll have a more full-formed
Yeah.
avatar for myself.
yeah, we'll change you up soon enough. We'll give you a makeover. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
had mine for too long to change.
Anthony, you need a new one too.
I've got one. I don't have that one anymore. I've got the one with the protesters' tears.
The protesters.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's the one that.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I use on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, well,
What?
you were a last
How do I
minute
notice
addition,
that?
so you got what was in the folder in the
That
computer.
works.
So
That works.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the helmet. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically what's going on, normally we stream on Thursdays, but I've been sick. There's this bug floating around here. It's nothing but a fever and body aches and stuff. You just feel like hell. So now I'm nice and congested, and it's just fantastic. So anyway, we normally stream on Thursdays, and then every I think we've done like 3 Sundays now. We usually just play around on Sundays, do silly stuff. Tonight's not really that silly because Lauren Southern, she's made a video. She's done a talk. She went to
Wait, you're trying to tell me Lauren Southern isn't silly?
oh god. No, she is. She's obviously a silly little girl that made a few pretty decent points during the election, and now she's
a parody of herself at this point.
Absolutely. So we're gonna watch that video and we're gonna discuss it. And Anthony, I've seen you interacting or speaking to Tyler Preston today and on Twitter. And I know
Oh,
the
boy.
history. I know the history when it comes to Tyler. He's a fucking weasel. But
He's not. He's just an idiot,
Yeah,
basically.
well,
He's just a mong.
he isn't.
That's the only way I could describe him last night. You think I used mong 3 times? I couldn't just think of a better word.
I called Paul Joseph
He's
Watson
one of those-
a mong today too.
He's one of those people that you hate to agree with. It's like when he says something right, you're like, God damn it.
Exactly.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and so that makes
for
me
him to
mad
say
at
something-
Lauren because she put me in this position to go, you fucking made Tyler Preston right, you bitch. Look,
Yeah.
stop, please.
I
get
had to
enough
retweet.
grief.
I had to retweet Glenn Greenwald like 3 weeks ago.
Jesus.
No.
I'm sure it's about like that.
No,
Fuck
why?
that guy.
What in the hell
Oh,
did he
God.
say that you had to retweet? Please tell me.
There was something that he was right about, and I had to retweet it. One little nugget in a giant mountain of shit.
Yeah.
All right,
I will
people.
do that.
So
I will be honest. Give people their props when they deserve it.
I will too, but this is where I get backed into the corner. It's whenever the SJWs were losing their mind, the conservatives were the ones that sounded sane. Okay, so now we've gotten the SJWs under control to a degree, but now the right is losing their minds. So it's like, why can't people just be normal?
I object.
I know you do. That's why I
public-
have you.
God.
That's why I wanted you to come in, because I knew that you would fight back with me.
Wait,
I think it's
so
the
I
public
gotta.
face.
I want to ask you guys this because I don't know if you'll have this experience, but this is what happens to me, and it's super hard to break out of / weird.
Mhm.
So like, you know how I'm like, I'm not really involved in like the SJW stuff or like the feminism stuff. Like I don't really do that stuff.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I'm way more into like the political sort of thing, and not even like, not in the sense of like, you know, specifically like the stuff that you see in our circles typically, like on social media. So like I'm way into more like the national security stuff and the foreign policy stuff and like the technology. So like I'll be in that world, like on Twitter in those circles, and then I'll switch back over to like our stuff. And it's like a lot of it is just like, who gives a shit?
I know,
Like,
it's identity
it seems
politics.
so
It's
weird.
identity politics, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting on all sides.
Yes.
I'll switch, like I'll be for like 20 minutes. I'll be looking at like, I don't know, stuff about who knows, national security or like foreign policy on Turkey or something like that. And I'll switch back over and I'll be like, I'll see someone like yelling about SJWs with blue hair. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? What the hell? This is just like this radical switch that's hard to move back and forth between. So I don't know if you guys experience that with some other kind of circles you're in, but it's hard to switch back. Sometimes I'll like start typing like I'm still in the other zone or something.
I never say that I'm on the left or the right. I'm a liberal. I mean, I believe in liberal ideas, but fuck, they're crazy and the right's crazy too. So I guess I'm a centrist, right?
Yeah.
I've taken a few tests and I do come out centrist, slightly right on some things.
I
Slightly
come
right,
I come
right
just slightly left of center right now. Just slightly
I think
left
it's
of
because I'm
center.
getting older. Most people, as they get older, they drift more towards conservative ideals. I guess.
Yeah, of course, because you're getting you're
Well,
what your
is
interest is in changes as you get older. So obviously it's going to change. But I still have a lot of very heavy liberal ideas, like get the hell out of my face with what you think I should and shouldn't do.
Well, what it is the older you get, the less likely you are to have trait openness and be willing to accept new ideas. And that's why you tend to become more centrist or conservative if you swing far enough. So like for me, I'm in my mid-30s. And so like I'm a liberal. I've always been.
I pegged you as younger. I thought you were in your early 20s for some reason.
Yeah, no, most people think that. I have no idea why.
It must be the voice. I think.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can come up with. But I've always been some form of liberal. But like within the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that, I found myself in sort of like the unusual category of liberal where, so like I'm a foreign policy hawk, like especially with like diplomatic stuff. So that includes like war and, you know, national defense and stuff like that. So like I don't even come close to like not only the progressive / regressives, but even a lot of like the more like mainstream liberals are like, I can't match up with that. It's just like, no. So
yeah, because you can be smeared as a leftist, you can be smeared as a conservative, can't you? It's
yeah.
I don't know. It's a tricky thing.
This is the conundrum I'm coming up against right at the moment. Is going to be if I agree with anything that the alt-right or the right says in any way, then I'm going to be a racist. If I agree with anything that the left has to say, then I'm going to be an SJW. So it's like, what the fuck, people? What do you want me to do?
I don't know if I was talking to you, Kari. I don't remember if I was talking to you or Leica or somebody. I don't remember who it was, but it was Leica. Yeah, I was talking about this, and I made the joke that I'm the tragic mulatto of liberals. So I can't win, but
I'm not intelligent enough to know what that means.
I can't do this group shit. I just can't. Like, I hate like trying to identify with like I mean, if it describes me, fine, whatever. But like, if someone wants to like ask me if I'm in a category, I'm like, I guess. I mean, if it makes sense, I accept it. And if it happens to fit in a certain category, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like when it comes to like making decisions, like through and through, it's for me, it's country over party.
Exactly.
I cannot stand partisanship. It drives me
Every
nuts.
single time. I am an American. Fuck the left. Fuck the right. And the center can shove it straight up their ass. It's just like, I'm an
You see that
American no
thing-
matter what.
Did you see that thing with the 8-year-olds and Paul Ryan?
No.
No.
Paul Ryan visited a school, and it was like a grade school, and there was I want to say like half the class, I think is what it was, refused to be in a picture with him because he wouldn't put country over party. Fucking 8-year-olds are like, Paul Ryan, you're a piece of shit. Like,
He is
we
a
get
piece of
this.
shit.
How do you not?
The children are calling you ownership. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Bottle Blonde spout her shit. So here we
There you
go. All right.
Josh's girlfriend. Yeah.
No. She likes romantic comedies. I have filed for digital divorce. with her.
Do you know how hard I laughed when you said that earlier when I was talking to you? You're like, nope, don't worry
No,
about
I
it.
don't.
I filed for digital divorce. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my God. I could do some rom-com, but few and far between.
I can't
Alright,
do
let's
Don't
any
hate
anymore.
on it. Don't hate on it. Why are you guys so against romantic comedies? If we watch a romantic comedy,
Not-
it's gonna put us in the
Shit.
mood to want to have
Because
sex.
they're all
It is
No,
in
because
your favor.
none of them are well written.
It doesn't
They're all
matter.
garbage.
Take one for the
What?
team.
No, there's
I
good
can't
ones.
think of one
There's some good
rom-com
ones.
I've watched that's good.
Okay, I can name one.
Fucking-
I don't know if you'd categorize it as this because it's got like a lot of elements of different genres.
This is
But my
when we're gonna
absolute-
see Ricky's inner homo. Watch.
No, my absolute favorite movie of all time is Lost in Translation.
Oh yes,
I didn't
love
like that movie. I didn't
I
like
love
I
that
don't know
movie.
if
That was
You might.
Well, I thought
be
it was
able
very
to
meh.
categorize that. Maybe, I don't know.
Refresh
Yeah,
my
it
memory.
was-
Refresh my memory on which one that is.
It's got Bill Murray and.
Oh yeah, that is
what's her-
good. Oh okay,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
babe. I
It's
remember
a-
now. Yeah, that one is good.
Anyway.
All right, we
Let's,
can talk about rom com another time.
Speak. All right.
Yeah,
it.
please do.
All right.
Hello. Okay, it's great to be here. I didn't get anything thrown at me on the way in, which is excellent. I just wanted to send a big thank you to the California.
Ricky, we are not going to
Yes.
encourage Antifa to throw things at people because that's who she's talking about. Control yourself.
she's had bricks thrown at her head. She's had
Piss,
water bottles
she
full
had
of urine
piss.
thrown at her.
Yeah, she had piss dumped over her head
Not
too.
surprised.
So no.
Okay.
Looking pretty fine there,
That's fair. That's fair.
Yay, boobs. Who
Not-
This
cares?
is
not a fan of the
self-deprecating humor here.
She's got a little
Alright.
black dress on.
I'll stop interrupting.
She-
Republicans
yeah.
for inviting me. You too. Now, with a topic like women and is this on? Is this working? Did it shut off? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna pause it for a second, guys.
Am I?
If you want to pause it, just go. I've unclicked it, so anybody that wants to pause the video and say something, you can. You have the power. You now have the power. If you have My Circle TV open.
With a topic like women in traditionalism, obviously I'm going to get a lot of flack, as we already saw outside. They had some pretty clever signs. They put me on a poop emoji on one of the signs. Clearly my ideas have just been blown the F out, as people would say. Just totally destroyed. But I figured that because I'm going to get flack from people on the far right saying I'm not traditional enough, therefore I shouldn't even be speaking here, and people on the far left saying that traditionalism is inherently evil, I decided to take to the kitchen and I baked a pie for the haters.
Hey, good on her. Good on her.
I just want to point out the cop in the background who doesn't quite look like he knows what he's doing there.
Yeah, he's
It's
awesome.
like I gotta be prepared for something, but I don't know what.
He's got keys for everything by the look of
Yes, he does.
He's half janitor, half.
it. Yeah.
I'm really the janitor. I just rented a uniform so people would leave me
Yeah,
alone.
he's
He's
not a
like,
real
look
cop.
at my vest. Look, it has.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me have a gun, so I'll beat you with my keys.
Put him in a sock. Put him in a sock. That makes him more dangerous.
If anyone really hates this speech, beach, they can come up after, grab a slice of pie, or you can try and offer it to the Antifa outside.
Yes, they can't eat it.
Yeah. Oh, just as I need it, it's gone.
Antifa.
Antifa now. Ben is secretly Antifa.
There it is.
There we go.
Okay, I gotta say this.
Mhm.
Fucking.
Yeah, fuck
As
Antifa.
someone on the left, fuck them.
Yep, absolutely.
Ironically, fascists. Okay, got that out of the way.
Go ahead.
Ben is secretly Antifa.
There it is.
There we go. Perfect. Now, on a more serious note, traditionalism is not actually about being chained to a kitchen and making pies all day. This may seem scandalous to say, but traditionalism is actually about women's happiness. And in fact, I made an entire video about it that some of you may have seen called What Every Girl Needs to Hear. And I did the whole thing without mentioning sandwiches once.
Yeah, okay, so her other video that she's referencing right here, she's telling girls that lots of sex is a bad idea. Sex before marriage is a bad idea. It's going to fuck up your relationships in the future. It's going to fuck up your marriage if you have multiple sex partners and crap like that. It's like, you don't need to be a slut and be promiscuous like the feminists said that you should be. It's like, hello, idiot. We do have a brain. Us non-feminist women, we do have a brain.
Let me get this straight. Her argument is the less experienced you are sexually, the better you'll be.
No, the more successful your marriage will be. She's going to get to that, but I'm just referencing
that
her
argument's
math.
based
Part of
on-
it. That's part of it.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
There is a healthy amount of statistics and research that has gone into a lot of the things that she's going to talk about.
Yeah.
But, the more partners women especially have, the more sexual partners they have, the harder it is for them to pair bond and form long-term relationships. Men have this problem too, but their threshold is higher. And a lot of that is just driven by our mating strategy and how we're biologically wired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can, so like I do some sociology stuff, and Josh, what you're saying kind of plays into that as well. But so what she's talking about, so people that are married actually have better sex lives.
And she's going to say that in just a minute.
Yeah, so that's true. But on top of that, the more partners you've had previously in non-committal, in the sense that you haven't been married or haven't been in a serious relationship that's, basically domestic partnership, then the better off you are. Now, the more you've been divorced, your happiness chances decrease and your chances of further divorce increase.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
So just some background on that.
It's because it turns you into a freaking cold-hearted cynic. Being recently divorced myself, I know. It's hard to fight against, but that's not the direction that she's going to go. She's going to go the slut-shaming direction. She's going to go, because she's not speaking to men right now. She's speaking to women directly.
Okay.
So that is her target audience with this discussion. That's why I have an issue with it. Why aren't we talking about what's good for both people? And why aren't we talking about that as a whole? Because it's not just one person that's in a relationship. Because she's only talking about hetero relationships. She's talking about man and woman, and all she talks about is women should do this and women's happiness and blah 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 blah. So she's only giving half of the information, and so that's only half of the story.
At the minimum.
Yeah, that's only half of the story. So it's not it's not a fucking full truth.
It's even less than that, because if you consider gay and lesbian couples, or even the other minority varieties, it doesn't work for them either. So it's,
to be fair, she's on the exact opposite side of the coin for people who fall in the feminist camp. Feminists and traditionalists are both on opposite sides of the same coin that is gynocentrism. They're focused on women.
Yep. But they're focused on
weird.
women for the wrong reasons.
Why this is the focus? Yeah, why is this the focus? I've always wondered that. So why not the sort of holistic relationship? Why focus on the woman aspect of it specifically? That's kind of bizarre.
Because both genders have a strong automatic in-group preference for women. It's just how it
Um,
works out.
Yeah, well, not so strong with women, but that is true with the in-group, out-group is true with men. But it's just
I don't think
strange
it's.
you focus on the
I
whole
don't
thing.
think it's just that. I think there's some validity in the traditional side of things. I mean, if you start talking about homosexual relationships or other variances of that, then you're talking about a minute part of the population. I don't know what the
Right.
stats are. I mean, how many as
Well,
a
yeah,
percentage?
no,
How
you're
many
right.
how
I
many
can tell
people
you
have
why.
a
It's like
regular?
7 to 10%. It's small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, Anthony, you're right, and I can tell you why. A little bit of background. So, uh, there's a very specific demographic, at least in the United States, um, that is the most happiest, and part of that demographic is you're a conservative and you're religious. So what that reflects is kind of what she's saying, in the sense that the more traditional, quote unquote, relationship you have, the more likely you are to be able to successfully pair with your partner and make it last.
Yeah.
So there's other factors too, but
Of course.
so
I mean, if you
yeah, so you're right, and she's right too, but just not for the reason she thinks she is.
And
I don't know how
I'm
many.
not saying that she's wrong in the things that she's saying. I have an issue with the tactics she's using to try and bring this stuff to young girls' attention. That
Yeah,
is
well,
my
so
issue.
yeah, and I agree, and just so her conclusion is correct, it's just that her premises are false, which is so it's luck. It's basically a Gettier problem. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna let her talk for a few more minutes.
Traditionalism is beneficial for women for about a gorillion reasons, and none of which that I could say would include because whatever religion says so. There are plenty of secular reasons for why traditionalism is good for women. So let's jump into one of my favorite things, and that would be data, because the stuffy conservatism that surrounds women and how they used to be in roles that we abandoned for twerking is actually something that is backed up by a lot of facts. So let's look at the first chart.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with twerking. I just had to put that in there.
So let's look at the first chart here. The fewer sexual partners a woman has actually increases the odds of her having a successful marriage later on. Now this is pretty damning stuff. If you look here, if a woman has 0 sexual partners before she gets married, she has a 90% chance, or around a 90% chance, of having a successful marriage later on. That goes down with every single sexual partner she has later on. Once it gets to 21 plus partners, you're getting to the...
All right, so what she's forgetting to say here, I mean, she's saying a successful marriage, a happy marriage, all that kind of shit. That does not necessarily mean fulfillment. I mean,
Yeah. Okay. So
that's where the problem is. I mean, if you I have plenty of family members that have gone straight into marriage with their first boyfriend. And they've never and they got married at like 18, 19, 20 years old. So they've never
Yeah, that's a
had
fucking
any
disaster.
Yeah, it is. They're still married though, but they don't even sleep in the same bedrooms anymore.
yeah.
So it's
Well, that's
like
the problem. Yeah, they don't have exposure, so
they're
it's
not
kind of like when you learn
divorced.
more than
They're
one
not
language.
divorced, but they are definitely they're not a
Yeah,
couple.
no, I know someone like that too. No, you're absolutely right. The problem is when that's all you know. So it's kind of like when you learn another language. So like I don't know if any of you know more than one language,
Hmm.
but when you do that, so like I know 3, including my native English, and once you grab that, it kind of lets you pull back and like see it from an outside perspective, and it gives you that view that you wouldn't otherwise be able to somehow comprehend. And it's the same thing with this. It's just a different perspective with sexual partners. It's like if you've only known one relationship or one style of relationship, you're not going to have a good taste or sense of what you need personally or what you want. So the chances of that relationship being successful long term are pretty damn low.
Well, there's another thing here that she's conflating, and she's not doing a very good job of pointing out. She's not differentiating between a failed relationship and hookup culture, which there is a difference in how that affects your ability to bond with people. You're completely forgoing a relationship for casual, meaningless sex. And some people can do it. A lot of people can't do it. And they don't really break these numbers down between people who are in multiple, somewhat long-term monogamous relationships versus people who just decide that they want to get boned 7 ways from Sunday.
Okay, so I was just looking at the chat, and my husband brought up a good question.
Yeah.
It says, "How traditional? From what era?" I'm going to go ahead and say the 50s. That is what these people.
Right.
That is what these people are wanting to go back to, like the good old days. I mean, that'd be like my dad going, "Oh, back when I was a kid, it was perfection." So
Okay, and you
The
know why
50s
that
were not
is?
good for men.
no, they
Right.
weren't.
No, there's a very specific reason why Kari is correct. So the reason that is because that is the oldest living generation that can coherently explain or convey their social culture to their younger generations.
Yep.
Yes.
That's why.
No.
So if we were, 50 years earlier, it'd be the 1900s. It'd be the same thing. And so, like in the chat earlier, I said conservatism or traditionalism is literally regressivism by definition. And that's not like an insult. That's not like a slander in the sense that, like, when you call a progressive a regressive, that's literally what it means. Is you're beholden to what you kind of learned socially and culturally when you were being, raised in your adolescence, and you have a very difficult time psychologically adapting to new things. You have trait openness issues, and that's exactly what it is. So that's that's literally what conservatism is.
Yeah, but back in the 50s, like you mentioned, like traditionalism and man-wife and all that kind of thing, 2 kids and a white picket fence. I mean, there's a big difference. We didn't have the internet then.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of information that one can get is astronomical compared to times like that. I mean, if you wanted to meet somebody, you'd have to, I don't know what you'd do back in the 50s, right? You'd be introduced by your mother and father to a friend or something like that. And it's just not like
exactly
that, is
right.
it?
Right.
So now you can just go on an online chat room and hook up with somebody if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's a really good point.
Even for young kids, like from 15 onwards. Who should we mention 15-year-olds?
Oh, jeez.
There were other problems with the 50s.
Of course.
Gender roles were not good for either party in the 50s.
I tried
Yeah.
to contain myself.
Oh my god, I'm ignoring that.
I'm just
Oh,
laughing
leave
because it was funny. No, it's a joke now. Fuck it.
All right.
Fuck it.
But that I mean, using like Reese's example is one thing, isn't it? Right? It's easy to start talking to anybody around the world.
Absolutely.
And even 10 years ago, that wasn't really possible.
How do you think I met
So,
all?
you know,
How
so
do you think I met all 3 of you fuckers? The internet.
Exactly.
Hello.
That's true.
So obviously, young kids have this as well.
Mhm.
They've been brought up with this. This is just normal life to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
whereas
like
back in the 50s,
right at
60s,
that
70s,
age.
even 80s, it wasn't there.
So like I know some of you are around my age. I don't know how many. I know Kari, you are.
Yeah.
Anthony, are you? I'm not sure.
No,
I'm
Anthony's older than me.
You're older.
Mhm.
Okay. So Kari and I at least were.
Josh
Right,
as
in
well.
sort
Josh
of
as
like
well. He's
the-
not that much younger than us. Josh, you're 30.
Okay. All right.
I'm 31.
Yeah.
You might have missed this, maybe. Okay, so Kari and I are right in the middle of the age sort of range where we were old enough where we were aware socially before and then when instituted the internet, like when it came around.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like we can remember what it was like before the internet in our adolescence and then see the change after the internet. And that's a very small window. And I consider that a sort of blessing, so to speak, because it gives you this kind of unique perspective where you're not like having a hard time catching up or something like that, or it's not all you've ever known. So like Anthony was saying, the internet plays
social media kicked off when I was a sophomore in college. That's when it really kicked off.
I remember when MySpace was .edu only.
I remember that too.
Yeah, you could not get an account if you did not have a .edu email address. So yeah, so we know what it's like. We have that perspective, and Anthony has a really good point. Is the internet has really made this
It's
like
changed everything. It's changed how we interact as a species.
Yeah, and that's
Completely.
actually like part of what I focus on in sociology. It's unusual. It's sort of the effect technology has had on populations, and that's a big part of what I look at.
Right.
So,
But
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen Lauren's video yet, but I'm presuming she's going to go down the right of, let's get back to basic values.
Yeah.
And if she is,
yeah, I
I'm with
would
her
be surprised.
on that. And I'm with her on that one.
No,
Because
she's
there's a lot of
just
value.
she's just talking to women directly, like stop having sex unless you're married. That's all she's
Was this
saying.
a conversation directed to women?
Yeah.
Like specifically, was it? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm
a
gonna
lot
let it. I'm
more
gonna let it
of
keep.
why
I'm
is
gonna
it
let it keep
focusing?
playing so we can get a few more minutes into it, because we're kind
Yeah,
of
let's-
going off just a little bit. Jamie
right.
said she's getting confused. She doesn't know what the point is yet. So I'm gonna let it play for like another 2
I've
minutes.
only got I've got like another hour and a half. 'cause
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
working.
Yeah, let me get it going.
Under 20% chance of having a successful marriage and finding a life partner. That is devastating stuff. I don't know, has anyone seen that movie, What's Your Number? Anyone? Okay, one person here. It bombed in the box offices, but basically, it came out last year. It's about a girl who finds out from a Harvard study that after she passes having sex with 20 people, her chances of finding a life partner are done, pretty much. So she tries to go back through all of her exes and date them instead, because her number is 20, so that she can marry one of them and not be doomed. It was a funny movie, but the reality is that these people that are tested in this study are real people that are potentially going to be alone for the rest of their life, die on their deathbed with no one beside them. It's a very, very sad reality.
Okay, so I have to
Quite
interject.
good.
The reason she's misinterpreting that slightly, it's not
Yes.
because of how much sex they have. It's because of what I was talking about earlier, where they don't have a good enough idea of the partner relationship style they want.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, it's being able to recognize the sort of core features of what a good relationship is. It has nothing to do with how much sex you've had.
That's right.
That's
That's
all
just
I think.
feeling your way through the population, right?
Mhm.
Feeling your way,
Exactly.
trying to find out what people are like, finding out
Yep.
what you like and what you dislike.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think
Very, very-
you can put a number on it. I don't think you can say, well, you've slept with 20 people or more. Then, I mean, she's
Well,
citing one study.
you can draw a trend line. You can, but that's not a hard line. You know what I mean? It's just
Of course.
the
I mean,
average, and then there'll be outliers.
So okay, so Josh, how many people have you slept with?
3.
How many people have you slept with, Shifty?
Oh God. When I was way younger, I was a total man whore. So probably around 18.
Right, I lost count. I think at 25. But I mean, I don't know. It is different for guys. I don't know. Well, I think it's different for guys.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, okay.
Wes,
So
is
for
it,
me,
Kari? I don't know.
it slowed way down. Like the older I got, the more I appreciated relationship dynamics, and the less I cared about the sort of sexual aspect of it.
Well,
Yeah.
you know why
Yeah.
that is. The little head is being overpowered by the big head.
Right.
You have been able to overcome your hormones, and you're like, all right, vagina
Yep.
is not enough. I need brains to go with that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you had to get to that point.
But I think that's a natural thing once you get into your 30s, anyway. I don't know.
When it, Jesus, see, this is where it's going to come up to male versus female, because I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. I'm not worried about it. I've had quite a bit of sex, and I'm not ashamed of it even a bit. I don't have a number. I don't have a number. Like, I don't have a number.
You have.
I don't have a
You
number.
whore.
It is strange to me that we ask numbers, like
Yeah.
as a society. You know what I mean? Like, what is?
Yeah, it's like
What does that say?
we're somehow putting a label on that. Like you slept with X amount of people as a man,
But
then
but
you're a
Anthony,
guy, and then
do
if
you
it's a woman,
realize
you're
what you
slut.
just did though? You went to Josh, you went to Ricky, and then you didn't even come to me. You didn't even approach me. You're like, nope, not fucking touching that one.
Well, it's kind of rude, isn't it? Because you're a lady.
It's not rude. It's just sex. It is
That's your
just sex.
British crap.
It was. I'm serious. It was just
All right,
sex.
you
There's a
wankers.
difference
Skip the
between
episode.
intimacy and sex. There
That's
just
true.
is. There just is.
No,
Not so much.
That's a good point. No, I have to honestly say, I would, if I were given the choice between cuddling with someone that I was intellectually and personality-wise attracted to versus having sex with, I would choose cuddling. I would.
Yeah, but
Yay.
I feel like the two things go hand in hand. Like if you
Yeah,
meet
they
a
do.
girl that makes you laugh, Same
Right.
for a girl. If you meet a woman that you can make them laugh and piss themselves laughing, chances are you can get into the knickers as well.
Exactly. That's what so like it's sort of it's
That's
a
just human
icebreaker kind
nature.
of thing. It's like there's the psychological aspect. That's what I'm attracted to. So
Right.
like when she's talking about this, there's parts of it I can relate to, but anyway,
Well,
let's let
play the
her
video.
spew.
We're only like
Very
45
sad,
seconds.
very sad reality. Now, women actually. Oh, there's some more sad data. Now, overall, women are happier in traditional roles as well, and this goes for men as well on this statistic of marriage. Married people, 43% report being very, very happy with their life versus unmarrieds, which are 24%.
I just want to point out this is all self-reported.
Oh.
There's no objective metric for this. It's all based upon how they report the data and how it's coded. So
What does she mean? What does she mean by a traditional role for a woman? Does she mean like stay at home, look after the kids?
Yep. Baby
Yes.
maker, and sandwich maker.
All right.
Women who stay at home and raise their children are happier.
That's
For a
bullshit.
period of time.
Their self-reported happiness is higher than other women, especially career women.
Well,
I think
she
that
is
is true,
specifically
yes.
talking. She's specifically talking about people who are in PR and who are in like fast-paced, moving jobs, not careers, jobs. I mean, because I can tell you right now, whenever before I got divorced, I was full-time mom, and I worked part-time with my career. I didn't have a part-time job. I worked part-time with my career. I would possibly even do my job for free. I love it that much, but I have to have money to survive and eat and stuff like that. But I did get, obviously I got fulfillment of being a stay-at-home mom, but at the same time, I lost my damn mind because it was just, it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. So I had so much pressure put on me because I decided to work part-time with my career. I went to school for that. I spent thousands of dollars going to school for that. And I did it for my future and my children's future. If anything was to have happened to my ex-husband, I needed to be able to take care of us just in case. So I set myself up that was responsible of me. I ended up loving it. So I had a shit ton of pressure put on me from friends and family members, all female, not male, female, that I just needed to give that up. That time in my life was over. It's like, no, that's my career. I'm never going to stop doing it. So
like Jamie just said, if you have a baby, if you a man and wife have a baby, the woman there is probably going to stay at home and look after the kid for I don't know, 18 months to 2 years max, and then the woman's going to go fucking stir crazy and wants to get out of the goddamn house and do something.
Yeah,
Which is just fair enough.
I stayed home with my girls. Whenever I had Gracie, I was single. I was a single mom whenever I had my eldest daughter. So I obviously had to go back to work immediately. But whenever I had my middle daughter, I didn't go back to work until she was. No, I went back to work when she was 9 weeks old because my ex-husband got out of the military and decided to stay home. So we did that for a couple months. He lost his fucking mind. He lost his mind. I had to quit, come back, and then he went and decided to go back to work and drop college because he literally couldn't handle it. But that's what he wanted. So that's what we did. It didn't work out. I went back home and I just worked part-time. I would go do makeup jobs and stuff like that or whatever. But it wasn't full-time. So but I would stay home. And I stayed home until my youngest was 3 years old and she started pre-K, and then I went back into it. So, but it's a balance.
Yeah. Let's play the video. We're literally a minute in.
Is roll screen. What Kari's talking about and what Lauren's talking about, they're two different versions of the same thing. So in sociology,
let's see what she has to say.
screen. So it's like you have different aspects to play. So we'll talk about it later if we have time. Let's get to the video.
When it comes to the happiest vocation for women, having children is the happiest vocation out of every job. That's including things like being a professional.
No.
Being a professional Instagram model, being a YouTuber. Every woman
No, a woman wants to be successful and feel somehow accomplished in whatever they're doing, and it isn't going to be just a mother. It's
Exactly.
not going to be just a mother. And don't get me wrong, being a mother is an amazing thing, just like being a dad is.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of work and takes a lot of time and effort, but it's not enough. People, women want to contribute just like the man does. Like
Sure.
financially, they want to feel like I'm putting in my effort, just like you are. Like my wife says it to me all the time because she's been with my youngest, my daughter, for the last 3 years at home. And she,
By the way,
she's.
kids. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go on.
Oh, I was just saying. By the way, kids actually increase the chance that a relationship will not be successful.
If that's all the woman is doing, is looking after him.
Yep.
Sure.
Right. So what she's promoting is actually a worse form, and she doesn't even realize it.
All right. Well, let's go on.
reported that being a stay-at-home mother made her happier. And the least satisfied here were people in marketing, advertising, and public relations. I apologize.
Nobody is happy in public relations because you're dealing with the fucking public. Holy
I was
fucking
just gonna
shit.
say,
Terrible,
nobody likes
terrible
being
example.
I knew somebody would say something.
God.
But is,
Damn
is
it.
she referring to like? Is she referring to like women who,
She's
employ a nanny to look after the kids? Because we've done that too. Like when we lived back in Dallas and stuff, we were both work. Sorry, when we were here in Odessa, she was working, I was working. We were earning maybe $6,000 a month, so we could afford to employ a nanny for all intents and purposes that would pick the kids up from school and pick my son up from school and look after our like 6 to 12-month-old. Right, and she was out working, but then she felt like she was missing out on stuff because she was at work all the time and those formative early months. But it gets.
And
Go ahead.
that's a role strain that men typically shouldered. The golden years of the 1950s that these people are romanticizing were the decade of absent fathers because
Yeah,
they
they
were
weren't
just
there.
buried in their work.
Yeah.
And in the military as well.
And then
of
they
course.
died. They
Because
like
of the
dropped
military.
dead. They dropped dead from high blood pressure and heart attacks and stuff. It was not cake. It was not a cakewalk for men back then. It just wasn't.
Right, so I'm slowly starting to disagree with her. Let's see what else she has to say.
Go ahead.
And if this hasn't sold you yet, some of you may be thinking to yourself, Lauren, you're a prude. Screw you, I like screwing everything. I don't care about getting married. You suck. Well, if that's the case, then I actually have some news for you because traditional values benefit you as well if you just want to screw everything, because the effects of promiscuity on how much you enjoy sex are pretty damning as well. The more traditional a relationship is, statistically, you have more sex and better sex. And don't take my word for it, most of the reports are entirely self-reported by women, and in fact it works for men as well. In this case, you look at results indicate that for every additional premarital sexual partner an individual has, not including the marital sexual partner, the likelihood that they will say their current marital sexual relationship is extremely satisfying versus only being moderately satisfying goes down by 4%. And for men,
Ignorance is bliss.
Just don't talk about it. Just don't fucking talk about it. Why is that so hard? That is masochism in its fullest. How many people have you slept with? Do you really want to know? Yeah. No, you don't. Why are you asking me that? Nobody wants to know that. Do you have an STD? No, I don't. Okay, show me your blood tests. Okay, you don't have an STD. That's all you need to know.
In
Pretty
the
much.
words of Chris Rock, just be glad you got her right now.
Yes.
Shit.
Good one. Good one.
I mean, now, if that is a part of your relationship and that is something that you both agree that you do want to know, absolutely. But please understand, once you know that, you can't unknow it. So if it's not fair if you're going to ask a woman, or if it's a woman asking a man, if you're going to get upset if it's something that is out of your preference or your tastes or whatever. So and they could be lying to you. They could be upping their number.
Do you like it up the bum?
Is that the question?
Let's not go there.
Usually, yeah.
That should be the
Pegging
question.
for dummies.
Fuck.
No, sorry, I just made myself laugh. Anyway, like.
having tons of extremely mediocre sex with lots of people, or extremely great sex with one person and having
You cannot get extremely great sex with just one person without having a few before. You just
Yeah,
can't.
you need to know the bad from the good.
No
This is true.
shit.
This is true.
You might get extremely lucky, but the chances of that are zilch.
I wouldn't be willing to take that risk. No.
I wouldn't. Fuck that.
Not if I was a
clue as to what you
20,
want.
not if I was between the ages of 20 and 25. Hell no.
Oh, God. No.
That's
You have
college.
zero idea. You have zero idea of what you want. That's ridiculous. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, nobody knows what the fuck they want to start with. They can't even do sex to begin with. They're just
Exactly.
fumbling around and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Everybody's gone through that phase.
10 years of fucking off.
Yeah, like Josh did it with his first, and now he's gone to his third. He's like, totally experienced.
Yeah.
Just
I'm thinking
kidding,
around
pal.
3. I'd say.
I may have beaten the brakes off of the third.
Jesus Christ, Josh.
Good lad.
Hey, for a while I was doing 3 a days for like a year. So yeah.
Burn yourself out, dude, is what you did.
Nope.
Meaningful, lasting relationship. It kind of seems like a bit of a no-brainer. And I'm not even done with how much traditionalism improves your sex life. If you are sexist in your relationship, your sex life is allegedly better based on statistics. Sorry, guys.
If you're sexist in your sex life, that's called submissive and dominant. That is a male and female dynamic that's going to happen in sex.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And there's
nothing
nothing
wrong
wrong with it.
I have to say this. So this is so aggravating to me because I deal with this all the time. Constantly, there are mistakes made, especially in sociology, but other social sciences as well, is people will look at quantitative data and then try and draw qualitative conclusions. Yes. So they'll look at and like see this disparity in numbers, and then they'll insert the reasoning that they want in as the explanation. It's what philosopher Robert Nozick called normative sociology. It's the problem that you want it to be. So she's looking at numbers that are correct, but she's putting her own interpretation into it without looking at a sort of the qualitative aspect. Why is this the case? She's just, all she has is, it is the case. She doesn't know the causality of it. She's just plugging in her worldview.
Yeah, but is it true? And I would agree with her on that. If you're in a happy marriage, that, you know, even though you've been married 20 years, I mean, you hear it all the time, don't you? That, well, I've been married 20 years and we still have a great sex life and we get on fantastic and all the rest, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, but a good sex life does not constitute a good relationship.
No, it doesn't, and I agree with that.
But that's what she's trying to say. She's trying to appeal to these people by saying the sex is going to be awesome. The sex will be great if you're in a committed relationship, and I can't agree with that. The sex is better when you're in a committed relationship because that intimacy is there.
Yeah, you know each other. And
yeah,
that's my whole point. Is she's not looking at this holistically. She's zooming in on the one thing that she wants to.
And that's very misrepresentative of what she's trying to say. I understand that she
just looks at data and misinterprets it.
Okay, well, let's listen to what she has to say.
Keep going.
Slag her off some more.
That's just a fact. So they found that when women do more chores, like doing the dishes and doing the laundry, and men do more chores like taking the garbage or repairing the sink, couples reported having a happier sex life. So traditionalism, statistically, better for your marriage, better for your happiness, and better for your sex.
No.
Sorry. Where am I?
Billy bitch.
Here we go.
I'm just waiting for Anthony to just yell cunt.
Oh, he will. I don't think.
Got there yet.
No, it'll be twat. It'll be twat. It'll be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll be twat, not cunt.
Cunt.
Basically, girls, if you want the best shot at happiness in your life and want great sex, marry well, marry young, and do the laundry. Guys.
Josh.
Josh,
hang on to wait, Anthony, wait, Ricky, wait, Josh. She just said,
yes.
Marry well.
Yeah, I want to know what that means.
Josh, you know what she means when she's saying that. What is she saying?
She's telling women to marry up.
Yes. I would agree, Josh, on that one, man. She's saying marry money.
Yeah, exactly.
Lay down for it.
That is fucked up. Go
prostitute. You see that all the time.
Go prostitute yourself.
Yeah, you see that all the time, man. You see all these especially in Texas, dude. I've seen it back in England, but nowhere near as much as over in Texas.
Texas is
Where you've got
insane.
I had one the other day. I've had literally in 2 days. I had 2 different people that I dealt with, and they were like, they looked in their late 50s. They had a girl on their arm that was probably late 30s, early 40s, like plastic tits. You know, obviously had a lot of plastic surgery and stuff. And these are like oil guys, loads of money. You know what I mean? So they're just lying down for it, as far as I'm concerned. And I've seen that back in England too.
I was watching
Speaking of comedians, this is absolutely like on par with it's it's with what's his name, Bill Burr, when he talks about we have an epidemic of gold digging whores.
I actually like Bill Burr. I really do. He's funny as hell, and he's so right. He's so right.
He's brutally honest. It's awesome.
All right, Josh, what were you saying?
I was watching a clip earlier this week of a man who is retired in his 60s, a former tech mogul who has sugar babies. He has one for every day of the week. And he pays them something like a total of $20,000 or $25,000 a year combined across all 7 of these sugar babies. He buys them presents. He keeps them. He takes care of them. They're all between 19 and 30, and just he gets them boob jobs. He buys them whatever they want. Go on vacations.
If that's what he wants to do, then more power to him. But that is not healthy for those girls that he's doing that to.
He gets to walk into a party and everybody looks at him, and he has the most attractive hot rod in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, this is kind of normal human behavior.
It is.
It's like, you look at, if you're attracted to somebody, there's reasons why you're attracted to them, because you think they're a good mate, they're a good, potential partner to have children with eventually. Like, if you wouldn't date an ugly person that you found repulsive.
Okay, well,
you wouldn't date somebody who
Anthony
looked like they had.
Have you paid attention to the whole alt-right shit? Because this trad, they call it trad because it's short for traditional. This whole traditional bullshit is tying into the alt-right narrative when it comes to make more babies because white genocide. So that's where I'm not kidding. That's where that's where this goes. She is speaking.
To be fair, a lot of this is coming out of what's considered red pill knowledge, or the men going their own way community. A lot of this is being pulled out of legitimate research that they've done. And it's being bastardized and used to draw interpretations completely divorced from the data.
And you see, that's the problem I have with her. I have with her because she's fucking things up for the MRA and for the MGTOW. I'm not against MGTOW. I'm not against MRA. Going through a divorce just recently myself, I seen what I could have been capable of. I could have took him to the cleaners. I could have gotten alimony for the rest of my life. I could have gotten over $2,000 worth of child support a month. I chose not to because he's freaking worked his ass off since he was 16 years old. I wasn't going to take that away from him because I didn't want it, and didn't want him to have any kind of power or say so over anything that I did once I left the marriage. Like, my money pays for that car, my money pays for that. No, fuck you, keep your money, and we just won't fight about it in divorce court. So
yeah, but I'm referring to going into a relationship with somebody.
Yeah, well, she's fucking this up with the MRAs, and they actually have legitimate problems. She's messing it.
Have legitimate issues for sure.
Yeah, well, she's taking their information that they've gathered and stuff like that, and she's screwing it up, and she's pissing somebody like me off. Because
the entire problem is not just her or she. Sorry, not just she, but MGTOW or the MRAs, or like, unless they're like have some kind of formal education in statistics, the chances of them correctly interpreting this are next to none. And it's kind of what I was talking about before. So you look at results, but you don't understand the methods. You don't understand how the data is allocated. You just know what you want to be true. And when you see the disparity in numbers, you go, aha.
Okay, hang on a second. Who was it? Somebody just said something in the chat. She said, okay, Lord, go ahead.
Yeah, she's in
I think
favor
is
of
that
MRAs.
great? That's it. Lord Belmont. I don't remember if you're Grant or not, or Graham. You said she's in favor of the MRAs. I know she's in favor of the MRAs, but one of the main reasons she's in favor of MRAs is because they're anti-feminist. They're anti-SJW. So
Yep.
remember that. I'm on side with the MRAs because I think they have a legitimate argument. They're getting fucked when it comes to child custody and alimony and shit like that. She's on their side because she knows that they are holding up both middle fingers to the feminists and SJWs. So she's allying herself with them, but for her own gains, and that's shit. That is absolutely shit. Okay, let's let her keep talking a little bit more.
A little more time with this and a little more room to mess up statistically, as Frank Sinatra will
Oh,
put
give
it.
me one moment, Michael. This is what's called a discussion. We allow one another to speak, even if we have different opinions, and we kind of expound on those ideas. So we may go off to the left, we may go off to the right, but we eventually come back to what we were originally talking to and continue the conversation instead of going, "Oh my fucking God, the Jews did it." That's how
I will
grown-up
put your ass in timeout again. Banhammer on the ready.
No,
Behave.
do not ban him. Let him show his ass, please.
Behave.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't get it, if he gets offensive and starts calling names, just
Yep.
time him out.
No, it's over done. Act like an adult and you're good.
Please, everybody. Jokes are cool. Calling people a
Yep.
twat, a cunt, and wishing rape on them is not.
Men tend to age more like fine wine, as George Clooney did. Now, they have this saying where they say men tend to be born poor and die rich, and women tend to be born rich and die poor. And that's all based on the fact that women tend to be valued based on their fertility. They tend to be valued based on their beauty and youth and these such things, whereas men tend to be valued on how much money they make and how successful and their status of power.
Okay. Women are valued on those things when it comes to beauty and their age, like being younger, because of other women. We compete against each other for the better, stronger, more successful mate. So that's on us. You can't bitch at men for that. Men want the better mate in a woman, so they're going to try and offer the things that women want. That's the way the sexes work.
Right.
It just is.
Our mating strategy is men are attracted to youth, beauty, and fertility because it produces children. Women are attracted to resources and strength because that provides for those children.
Yep, it keeps those babies safe.
So okay, so here's
security. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so what you guys are talking about, just on the whole, and what she's talking about on the whole, it plays in, I think Josh, you mentioned a little bit earlier, is role strain. It doesn't matter what the sex or gender of the person is in the relationship. It's, can you balance different aspects of both of your lives successfully? That's what it is. It has nothing to do with how many sexual partners you've had or the role you want to play in your house, like as far as like a housewife type thing goes that she's kind of implying here. It doesn't matter. It's, can you as a couple meld together and both balance in a sort of healthy codependent way what needs to be taken care of in a relationship. That's what matters. And she's misinterpreting this because she wants this to be in a certain way.
What I find funny about Lauren is she's a millennial. She's 21 or 22 years old. And what I suspect has happened is the same thing that's happened with most of the other millennials. She doesn't have a role model that she can look at for what makes a good, healthy relationship.
Exactly.
My parents have been married for 35 years. I've always had them as my example for what a relationship should be.
Mine too.
But I am not statistically normal in that respect.
You're an outlier.
So Josh, me and you are so much alike. Me and you are so much alike. It's not even funny. You just have testicles and I have ovaries. That's the only difference. Like our backgrounds. So it's
right.
My parents, they've been married. How old is my brother? He'll be 38 in September. So my parents have been married 39 years. That's holy shit. Yeah, they got married because my mom got pregnant when she was 16. She was 15, and she had him when she was 16. And she had me when she was 19. So my parents, and they've been together since she was 14, and he was 19, I think. So they've been together a really long time. Now, at this point in their relationship just changed hugely because she just went through menopause. So my mom has lost her mind. Like, she's a completely different person. Her brain just completely shifted. So now they have the relationship of, like, friends or best friends or partners. You know what I mean? The sexual thing is just not there. They don't hug. They don't kiss. Nothing. They're just more like an old married couple. But that works for them. My dad said he's completely fine with that part of the relationship. It just evolved into that. So, but they've never known anything else. They're the perfect example of people that have never had any other kind of sexual partners. So when we sit there and we talk about sex or current sex trends or something like that, they have no idea what I'm talking about. And it amazes me. I mean, even I guess that they just can't relate. And so they see all this stuff going on with, like, liberals and SJWs and that stuff, and the crazy sexual trends and stuff like that with, let's see, the otherkins or furries or something. My mom asked me about furries, and I'm like, fuck, how do I explain this without turning beet red? Adults
You would have been
dress
better
up.
off if she said, "Do I look good in this dress?"
I was like, adults dress up as characters, like stuffed animal characters, and have sex. And
It's
she's like,
worse than that.
and
They can only get physically turned on
I didn't
by
go
having
that
that as
far.
part of
I
their.
didn't go that far. No, it's not a bad thing, but I think it's sad. I'm answering a question in the chat. Mike, he asked me if it's a bad thing that they've been married that long. No, but I think that they were pressured into getting married whenever she found out she was pregnant because of what was going on in society at that time, which was, when did they get married? In 77? Or they got married in 78. So, but
Yeah,
that, and she was 15 years old, so she was a kid. So of course she was scared, she was pregnant, her family was, like, completely broken, and she wanted something better. I can't hate on that, but I don't know. It's like they don't know what they don't know. So are they missing out on something? It's that whole question. Mr. Philosopher, take over.
Be more specific, and I'll be happy to.
I can't. He didn't ask me a specific question.
There-
All right, we're
there
7
is
minutes
that
into this.
opportunity.
Yeah.
There is that opportunity cost that they'll never be able to recover that opportunity cost of what could
Yeah.
have happened.
There you go. Thank you, Josh. You said it more eloquently.
That's fair. That is fair.
Can y'all hear me? I had to.
Yep, you're good.
Oh, yeah,
I was talking to the wife.
Oh, it's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let her talk some more.
These kind of things go up with age, whereas things like beauty and fertility go down with age. So you have to have some sort of responsibility from both sexes. Men, these statistics do affect you less when it comes to being with tons of people before marriage. You're still likely to have successful marriages even if you've been with tons of people. However, there still has to be responsibility from both sides to have overall lasting happiness. Now, all this stuff that I'm talking about, all these statistics that lead to happiness, great sex lives, and all these things, are in the realm of something called traditionalism. They are wisdom of the ages that people pass down so that their children and grandchildren will have successful lives.
Oh, God.
But this wisdom
It's so hard not to pause.
Femininity used to be.
I don't think there's anything wrong with what she just said there. I mean, there is wisdom in it. It does work.
Well, yeah, true. But the issue I take is, again, with the sort of the way she came to the conclusion, not the actual conclusion.
Okay.
Femininity used to be something that we celebrated. You look at in history, goddesses like Venus, they were held up as the stunning image of fertility and beauty. Or you look in Christian iconography, you had the Virgin Mary was held up. And ever since we stopped holding up femininity and women's happiness, we started embracing feminism. And since then, well, what's happened to women's happiness is
there we go.
a steady decline. And we can't figure it out. We can't put two and two together for some reason. Secular research has been confirming what every religion in the world has already known freight of millennia, and we are still not listening.
What the
No.
fuck is secular research?
What the fuck is on that
That's
screen?
just research, right?
She's got the
Yeah, right.
Virgin. Why does she have the Virgin Mary up on the screen?
You know, that biased empiricism.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So people here may be wondering, if traditionalism is so good, if it's this great thing that has caused for women to be very, very happy, and when taking it away causes for them to be depressed, why on earth have we abandoned it? Why are we not sticking to these traditional values? What
I blame the Spice Girls
Oh God.
Hey, that's
and girl power.
what's now
I'm not kidding, man.
Here.
Honestly, it is kind of a joke, but if you think back when that song came out, which
true.
was what, early 90s, 91 or something,
Yeah.
when Spice Girls were saying
Yeah.
girl power and all that kind of thing.
I
This is
blame
just an
Trotsky.
extension of that. Oh, please.
Have a
I blame Trotsky for sowing these seeds back in the 1920s and 30s.
Yeah, you know what? I really wanted to say, so she, like in the sort of projection screen she's got going on in the background, I really want to know how she's going to try and tie this into Marxism, because I guarantee you she's going to fuck it up and I'm going to have to comment on it.
Okay.
What could possibly make feminist land whales with infected piercings and armpit hair more appealing than the traditional and the feminine? So how did this happen? Because Darwinism does not support
Oh, God.
the
Please mention Spice
survival
Girls.
of the blue-haired social justice warrior. These are literally a breed of people that think it is problematic to pass on their genes. So Darwinism does not support their existence. It doesn't make sense. And in the long term, it doesn't make
God.
sense. This is why the West is dying, because we're creating a generation of these people who don't even want to pass on their genes. So the answer to how did this happen is it happened through deceit. And that deceit came in the form of the politics of envy and destruction that we know as Marxist feminism.
I don't disagree with her there. I do not disagree with her
Favorite
there.
comments on my YouTube video that I did.
I completely,
Okay, so
I completely agree with her there on the Marxism shit. Feminism coming back. Oh God.
So I'm not clear at all what she means by feminist Marxism. What are you thinking of, Kari?
Okay, so basically, all she's saying, because you know how they describe liberals as pushing the Marxist narrative, because that is what's going on right now with our fellow liberals, the SJW type. They're all about communism. They're all about, I mean, Jesus Christ, they were praising Fidel Castro, for Christ's sake. So,
Wait.
A while ago.
oops, sorry.
What's the? I'm sorry, I don't understand the tie-in.
Okay. What she's saying is whenever you talk to any SJW, if it's a female, if they claim themselves to be a feminist, they're going to say that they're gonna relate to Marxism a lot. They're gonna say that socialism is a really good idea. That oh, hang on. What was the other one that that girl just said to me earlier today? Like, what was she talking about with Japan? You seen did you see that thread?
No. So the tie-in here is old Marxism was about controlling the means of production by pitting the proletariat against the bourgeois, the haves against the have-nots.
The Bernie
And
Sanders supporters, basically.
The tie-in here is that they have reframed that discussion where the haves, the people who have power, have always historically been men, and the have-nots, the oppressed, have been women. So they've
I see.
They've mutated it into an oppressor-oppressed narrative, and then shifted that into gender relations and used that to slowly eat away at the traditional family.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there you go.
So like that makes sense. I guess what I'm trying to understand. So okay, what drives me
I don't
crazy?
think the feminists know that they did that. I think they were indoctrinated in college, and they've been useful idiots for their entire lives.
That is possible. So I guess what drives me nuts is how this sort of the Marxist label is like a go-to for any type of behavior or mentality that's even remotely collective. So just as sort of like a quick background, Marx didn't even really write about specifics on communism at all. All he wrote was communism is sort of perfected socialism. He didn't write what that consisted of. And his entire point was that it's the perfect complement to democracy. So if you want to learn about capitalism, read Marx, because that's the vast majority of what his works are on. I don't see the tie. People feed that, and it drives me nuts.
So, was I wrong in my description?
Refresh my memory.
No. I'm being serious. If I was wrong, please correct me, because I don't want to communicate this stuff incorrectly. So feminists are getting it wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Or very often right-wingers too, who want to label any sort of liberalism, of even remote liberalism, as Marxism. I mean, it's just an exaggeration, it's an extreme, and it's also inaccurate.
Okay. Well, I'll look into that a little bit further then. Thank you, because nobody's ever brought that to my attention. This is why we have you around. You're useful, a useful man.
Yeah,
oh my God, what are we gonna do with you?
It's too fucking smart for me, man. I don't know.
No, it's not. Look, but we're still.
I don't even understand what. Dude, I don't even understand what cultural Marxism is. I know Marxist is like communism.
It's a bullshit label. That's what it is.
It's a bullshit label. The idea behind cultural Marxism is, again, this idea of reframing an oppressor and oppressed narrative.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody starts talking about Marxism, my brain just goes.
Here's what they'll never get over too, like in the reality of things, despite their inaccurate description. So any type of system. So Marxism refers to only economics, but you can apply it to other things, I suppose, if you want. There's this dialectical element. So you have a thesis and antithesis, two opposing ideas. And at some point, they clash enough or come together in some way that you get a new form called a synthesis. And that repeats. It's cyclical. And that's how you make progress. And it applies to all kinds of things. This stems way back into early philosophy. Marx applied it to economics. And so when people talk about cultural Marxism, I don't see the problem. All that's referring to, I mean, unless they're defining it incorrectly, it seems to me to describe social progress in a very natural way. All it is people balancing each other out on the far ends to get in the middle of a stable society. So I don't get it. I mean, either they don't know what they're talking about or what. I don't know.
It also doesn't adequately describe the slow Muslim jihad into the West very well.
If we're not slugging Tyler Preston off, my brain just switches off.
Here's a quick way of summing the entire thing up, not just economically, not politically, just everything. The slower the change is in any aspect in society, the more stable your society will be. Mm-hmm. That's why extreme left and extreme rights need each other. As much as you may dislike each other, you need each other.
Yeah, there has to be a balance. There has to.
Society. Yes. A society cannot handle accelerated progress or extreme traditionalism. It will fail in both of those cases. You need gradual progress.
There has to be that gray middle area. When it comes to myself, yes. I know myself well enough to know that I'm always going to need someone there to balance out my just being
crazy.
No, not crazy, but just not making split decisions, but just going with the flow. Every once in a while, I need somebody to go, hey, give this a second thought for a moment, to control my spontaneity. I guess that'd be the best word. It's not easy, but I need it, because if I don't, I will turn into one of those people. I could very, very easily turn into like the super, super left, where I'm just like, fuck it all, just get rid of the government, no government whatsoever. But at the same time, I'm a war hawk. I want to kill everybody that causes harm to other people, like causes harm to innocents. That balance needs to be there. If the left wasn't there to tell the right to calm down, then the right would be crazy. And if the right wasn't there to tell the left, calm down and quit being so crazy feminist, it just wouldn't work. Is it the best? It's not the best system right now, but
No, that's why. So the United States is a very young government. The reason it's so successful is for exactly what you and I just described, Kari. You need those polar opposites. If you look in history, you will see why this destroys things if you don't have these polar opposites sort of balancing each other out. So if you have an extreme left, you're going to get too revolutionary. If you have an extreme right, you're going to get too dogmatic. And in both cases, you end up with a failed state. You need gradual progress. That's why, even though I'm a liberal, I don't have this sort of animosity towards conservatives that a lot of liberals do. I understand that I, as a liberal, need them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have to like them. I don't have to be in bed with them, but I know that they need to be there because I know the left politicians get crazy with some of their shit. And then the right, they want to drag religion into science classes. So the balance must be there. I know this world is never going to be without religion. I know this world's never going to be without like violence and death and all that stuff. It's just human nature, but we do need the balance so there's less of it.
Oh, we'll get rid of religion with Moab
If you want
ourselves.
to tie this into religion, like we kind of have in the title here, religion is a perfect example of this on like a sort of sub cultural level. So successful religions are ones that adapt slowly. So you look at different forms of Protestantism, that's why they're still around.
Yep.
If you look at more dogmatic ones, that's why they're dead. They don't change.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just on a more micro level.
All right, let's let her keep talking again. I don't even know if we're gonna get through this. Anthony, whenever you gotta go, man, go ahead. I mean,
No, I'm good. I'm waiting for you guys.
All right.
You started talking about cultural Marxism, so I'm like, brain switches off.
I know.
He's watching football.
Feminism.
Hey, you bastard! You better not be watching football.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Not football. Season's over.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
Go ahead.
All right. Marxist propaganda. Really, Marxist effing propaganda. Tell me, Lauren, what the F does Marxism have to do with any of this? Marxism, a form of communism, has nothing to do with feminist SJW propaganda. Or are you saying anyone to the left of you is Marxist? I swear you people are such hypocrites. You hate how SJWs water down terms like racist, sexist, Nazi, fascist, rapist, but you yourself water down the word Marxist. Practice what you preach,
Wait to hear
please.
this explanation.
Of course, YouTube comments always have to have such colorful language and be so kind and articulate in the way they present their points. But despite that, it is still
It's the internet. Get over it.
Please say something substantial.
What does feminism have to do with Marxism, and what does Marxism have to do with traditionalism?
I would love to
The
know.
answer to that is everything. Feminism has been Marxism.
Dun dun
since-
dun.
Woo! We need to stop with some of the more superficial critiques we've been making of feminism because, quite frankly, at this point, anyone can debunk the wage gap. It's simple math. At this point, it's so easy to debunk their logic. I think there's over 1 million videos just debunking feminism on YouTube right now. It's time to understand the motives behind their apparent stupidity and to see the bigger picture here because socialism, feminism, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ propaganda, the free love movement from the 60s, and globalism, these are all not distinct entities. They are branches from the tree of Marxist thought. And they're all
I
based
can't wait
on
to hear this.
preventing class struggle. They're based on the narrative of the oppressor and the oppressed. And they are all politics of envy.
Okay, so although she has a while to go for her explanation, there's already a key point that she's missing. Forget the fact that Marxism only refers to an economy. That's it. Forget that. I can't think of the name. It's named after the researcher who figured it out. But there is a legit point to what she's talking about with classism. You cannot avoid this. There's this sort of cyclical way in economics and in social hierarchy where gradually one very small group will acquire the vast majority of whatever resource or power that it's referring to. And you have to counteract that somehow. So that's why if you're in a capitalist society, if it's not heavily regulated, you're fucked. If you're in a socialist society and there's not enough sort of wiggle room for free markets, you're fucked. It's the same thing. You have to keep continuously like going back and sort of equalizing things out in some way, because naturally it will accumulate into an extreme minority. And so she's right on that point, but she's completely misinterpreting it and misrepresenting it. I would never call that Marxism. It's just dialecticalism at best.
Okay, well the chat
I didn't even understand what that word meant.
the chat is saying that that's why it's called cultural Marxism. What say you?
It's okay. So whenever someone talks about cultural Marxism, it sounds just like social Darwinism to me. In other words, it's a complete misrepresentation and misapplication of the term. Social Darwinism has nothing to do with evolution. In fact, just as someone who does sociology, I will openly own this. Social Darwinism comes from this well-known sociologist that is the sort of black sheep in the discipline that no one wants anything to do with, because he sort of founded this idea. It has nothing to do with it. So like we all know, if we understand anything basic about evolution, all it is plasticity to your environment. How well can you adapt?
Yep.
It has nothing to do with being an idiot and then therefore getting eliminated from the gene pool, that kind of thing. That is not evolution. That is not Darwinism. That's not accurate. And it's the same thing with cultural Marxism. It has nothing to do with Marxist propositions or anything like that. If they really want to refer to it as something more accurate, it's the dialectical thing I was talking about earlier. So you have two opposing ideas, they come together in some way, clash, and there's this new version that survives in some way, and that repeats. So the new version opposes another sort of antagonist, and out of that comes a new version, and it just keeps going and going and going. That's the natural, slow progress that you need. So maybe if they use that label, I could somewhat take them seriously. But right now, this comes off to me as when people talk about social Darwinism. It's wildly inaccurate.
Marxism's long march through our institutions has been aimed at subverting tradition at every turn. Marxism has actively been hostile towards the ideas of meritocracy. Marxists have encouraged children to rebel against their parents, students to rebel against their teachers, ignorance against knowledge, weakness against strength. At the lowest level of social organization, subverting tradition meant subverting the family unit itself.
She literally just implied Orwell's quotes. Like, it was half directly quoted.
Yeah.
It was, okay.
I caught that.
This is an economy. That's it. Even Marx himself. So, there's there's a plethora of variants of communistic thought. Marx never said how this would come about. All he said was, look, I've noticed this pattern in history. This is what it looks to me like it will eventually become. How it will be that way, I don't know. And so to frame it as this sort of, he's saying this is how it'll be, or... It
wasn't a manual for how to do it.
Right, exactly. That's why I say, if you want to understand capitalism, read Marx. That's what he did. The majority of his work on it was analyze capitalism. So on top of that, when she's applying it to sort of everything she doesn't like, it just waters it down even worse. But it's just so aggravating. I don't know. She completely misunderstands the entire concept. So, to say that it's not a meritocracy, she's claiming then by fiat that democracy is not a meritocracy. Because, again, that was Marx's argument, was what he thinks this will, end up being, this sort of the ideal socialist economy, which is communism, is the only perfect complement to democracy. So she's saying democracy is a problem.
Pitting wives against their own husbands. And of course, modern Marxist feminists have taken this even further. If destroying the patriarchy represented splitting the atom, then the postmodernists are bent at destruction at the subatomic level. To the postmodernist, Marxist, feminist,
What?
truth
That makes no
itself
sense.
is considered an instrument of oppression. You look at the idea of hate facts.
I'm now going to impersonate Lauren Southern.
Yep.
Josh.
I don't know if you heard me, but I was like, "What is this woo-woo?"
She just
White
freaking
noise.
She just put like 4 buzzwords together and was like, my point. Holy shit.
This is pure white noise.
Tide
Meaningless.
comes in, tide goes out. You can't answer
Yep.
that.
Oh,
She's trying
Spit it.
though. She's
Hate
trying.
facts. They will not stop until excellence has been stamped out and until order undone. Women are now being told that the very act of childbearing is oppressive. If you look at Simone de Beauvoir's book,
Oh, this would
Second
be good.
Sex,
Let it
I know
go.
this one.
Let
she
it
says
keep
that
going.
motherhood leaves a woman riveted to her body, like an animal, and made it possible for men to dominate her and nature. So
Imagine that. A fucking crazy feminist saying some fucking crazy feminist shit. We are not shocked.
wait. Okay. Sorry, go
There
ahead.
is-
I didn't mean to.
No,
There
you're
is
fine.
some truth in what she's saying.
Yeah,
There is some
is.
truth in what she's saying. Like, women do feel like
Okay, so-
the body is ravaged after they've had a baby.
It's like,
Like
an
the
alien.
body-
It's like an alien
I mean,
takeover. I'm
Biologically,
telling
though,
you.
not
Yeah.
socially.
No, not
No,
socially.
right.
But
Okay,
but the two
so-
things are tied together because you if a woman has a baby, she puts on weight and blah blah blah, and then
Right,
she can't
right.
lose the weight, and then she feels fat and feels ugly and all the rest of it.
Yeah. No, there's
There
plenty
is
of
some
social
truth in
consequences.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. But I just wanted to point out. So anytime you see this a lot, and it's kind of depressing to me because there's this good element to it. The people like Lauren Southern love to quote Simone de Beauvoir because she's one of the few sensible feminists. And so they look at her as, sort of someone they can play off of. And it's like, damn it.
Why
Because,
isn't she quoting Christina H. Summers, Hoff Summers? Why isn't she quoting her? Because she doesn't say this kind of crazy shit. But she is a sensible feminist. She's still a feminist, but she is sensible. She is an actual feminist I can sit and listen to without like ripping my hair from the roots.
Yeah, no, I think she's sensible, and I can, I guess for lack of a better word, tolerate her.
There you
But
go.
I do take issue. I take issue with a lot of her reasoning.
I
And
do as well,
that's
but
an
I can.
entire
It's like
conversation
me
itself.
sitting there trying to listen to Jordan Peterson. I want. I'm sitting there listening to him. I'm listening because obviously there are some people out there that are getting some stuff from this man. So I'm trying, and I'm opening my ears. So I do the same thing when it comes to her, but she doesn't tie it into religion, so it's a little bit easier for me to sit and listen with her.
Right.
And she's not insane.
So
she's not insane.
Yeah. So de Beauvoir, the reason they quote her so much, she was basically the last of the feminists that were not so extreme, that were sensible and understood things like social structures. She was legit. She was pretty much the last one before this postmodernist stuff kicked in. So that's why they love de Beauvoir. And it's unfortunate because, to me anyway, because she's a really good, if you want a good feminist from my perspective, de Beauvoir is where I would go, hands down. So
You know everything. I've never heard of this woman ever.
I deal with. I'm quite.
Pick up a damn book, you ignorant ass! My God, you're sitting in front of. You are.
In Anthony's defense, she is a bit of an esoteric author for anybody not involved in feminism.
Yeah.
Well, also in Anthony's defense.
Okay, well then if Anthony doesn't get to comment on this then because he doesn't know what the hell we're talking about. That's a total joke, people. Why am I even explaining myself? I don't have to explain jokes to my audience because they're not fucking teenagers. And we're going to continue with the video now.
So, for these feminists, it wasn't enough to just pit women and men against each other, to pit wives and husbands against each other. They had taken to setting mothers against their own children. And not just that, abortions were not enough for them. The incubator life, the womb itself, is an oppressive thing. And this is a leader in feminist Marxist thought.
Lauren, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's 2017. Being pregnant during this time right now, it actually is a pain in the ass. You haven't been pregnant yet, so you don't know. And I'm not saying you can't relate or anything, but you actually just don't know. It is not easy being pregnant during this time right now. If it was the 50s, sure. Right now, it's just not.
What you just said is exactly de Beauvoir's argument. Lauren is misrepresenting that.
Yeah.
All she talks about is what essentially amounts to role strain. Your role as a mother and then anything else. So you have a limited amount of time. How much time can you allocate to being a mother, to being a soccer coach, to being a store clerk, whatever? You have a finite amount of time to play these different roles. And so that's what de Beauvoir is talking about, and she's completely misrepresenting it.
Let me borrow liberally from socialistworker.org's January 31st, 2013 article. I'm sure that the International Socialist Organization won't mind me borrowing from them because they don't believe in their property anyways, so.
What?
Cheap dig. They're socialists.
Armand, the first leader of the women's
They are what they are.
1917
Burn.
Russian Revolution said, if women's liberation is unthinkable without communism, then communism is unthinkable without women's liberation. Marxist tradition has, from its beginnings, with the writings of Karl Marx and Frederick Engels, stood for the liberation of women. As early as the Communist Manifesto, Marx and Engels argued that the ruling class oppresses women, relegating them to second-class citizenship in society and within the family. The bourgeois sees in his wife a mere instrument of production. The woman was...
A, props to her for correcting the French. B, fuck you. That's not the argument. It's in its entirety class struggle. That's it. Marx never went, oh, women, they have that. It's like, what? No. It's class struggle on the whole. Just get out of here with that.
I just want to point out that you can tell Lauren is well outside of her wheelhouse right now.
Oh, absolutely.
She's well outside of her wheelhouse.
I don't know about her, but when I give a talk or a lecture on anything, I make damn sure I know what I'm talking about. And if I don't say it for this exact reason. So I don't know if she has that forethought, but it's pretty embarrassing. I don't know.
Well, when you hear her talk about things that she's really passionate about and moderately more informed about than this, her writing and her jokes are substantially better. But yeah, she just doesn't have that coherence right now because she's not personally connected to what she's talking about.
No.
Yeah, it pairs up directly with her confidence level. So if you notice when she kind of resorts more to sort of the pathos type rhetoric, where she's appealing to emotion and humor and that sort of thing, and she's not really saying a whole lot, that's why she doesn't feel confident or really have any sort of substantial education in what she's talking about, and therefore she should shut the fuck up. But the things she knows more about, she doesn't have to resort to those tactics. She can just state facts and try and analyze them in some sort of less rhetorical and more informal logic kind of way. So yeah, Josh, you just nailed it.
Reduced to servitude. She became the slave of his lust and a mere instrument for the production of children. If he kills her, he is only exercising his right, said Engels. Moreover, Lenin continued with this narrative, saying, in order to change the conditions of life, we must learn to see them through the eyes of women. Lenin also commonly referred to women's oppression within the family as domestic slavery. So, motherhood and being a wife is domestic slavery. According to statistics, apparently a lot of women...
She has no idea. It really is. I mean, it really is, but it's not like slavery. There's payment. I mean, if we're going to be real about it, it absolutely is. But that comes with raising any kind of young. That comes with being in any... It just comes with it, all right? That woman was using that wording to be a little bit flamboyant. But it really is.
Well, yeah, on top of that, let's not forget that money isn't the only form of compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah, you get that love. You get that connection with those people that you take care of, and you do serve. You do serve them. It's just that fine amount.
If
They're
you're
just
a caregiver of some kind, you understand that.
yeah.
She clearly has never had that. Anyway,
Beck and call. You're there, but you
If
sign
you
up.
do a good job, when you get really old, they'll take care of you.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I can't wait till Lauren Southern is like 70 and she has fucking no one.
Your kids will grow up and they won't be mass murderers and they won't be emotionally unstable, and so you'll get to hang out with adults that you would rather hang out with because you made you made them as children. You molded their little brains, so they'll be cool to hang out with once they are old enough. So that's the payoff. That absolutely is the payoff.
Yeah. If Lauren Southern has children anytime soon, in the far future, they will want nothing to do with her. I promise you. She will be alone. She will die alone.
Women like being slaves. Kind of kinky. These are the leaders of Marxist thought.
Got
They're not
jokes.
some random nut jobs. They're just very, very famous nut jobs. And these are the words from their own mouths. The talking points of domestic slavery, of rape culture, and of women being chattel have been established for a very long time. They did not come from the depths of Tumblr, as some of us may think they did.
Fair point.
Have been established through communism and Marxism, and we just don't usually discuss their origins in schools. In fact, they're usually hidden.
Okay, what the hell? Communism and Marxism? Which one? Those are not equivocal.
No.
Marxism is communism, but communism is not necessarily Marxism. There's a billion different varieties. This like jargon crap is driving me crazy. And statistics say, are you going to cite your stats? What are the methods behind your stats? Are you going to talk about that at all? This is unbelievably unprofessional.
Keep going, Rick. I'm enjoying it.
These thought leaders said that communism is inextricable from feminism. So based on that, we can deduce that feminism is for everyone and that patriarchy hurts us all. Where have we heard that before? Marx and Engels have kindly provided us with all of the concepts that we need to create intersectional feminism, and it is not even 1920 yet. So, in 1920, Trotsky had firmly established gender equality as a battleground. In order to achieve the actual equality of man and woman within the family is an arduous problem. All our domestic habits must be revolutionized before that can happen. And yet it is quite obvious that unless there is actual equality of husband and wife in the family, in a normal sense as well as in the conditions of life, we cannot speak seriously of their equality in social work or even politics.
She needs to shoot whoever made that slide because there's way too much text on that.
Yeah, on top of that, complete misinterpretation. But yes, absolutely. Learn to make a fucking slide. God damn it.
Viva la revolution.
Okay, you know Marx was German, right? Why you just said French? I don't know.
That was barely French. Viva la?
Yeah.
The
Horrible.
plural. The
Yes,
plural
that's one of the other
person?
languages I speak. Yes, that's terrible. Fuck me.
History in 1920s Marxism and get into state-of-the-art postmodernist stuff. Check out The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir, The Scum Manifesto, and Sexual Politics by Kate Millett. If you are a fan of degeneracy, you're in for a real treat. But,
Okay, why is equality degeneracy? You can explain that, or we're just going to brush over it? I don't understand why this Marxist label is being thrown around by her. Like, she has yet to explain what the hell that consists of in her mind. She's just
pejorative. Every time she hits it, she wins.
She's just quote mining the hell out of Marx and Engels, completely misunderstanding it, and then just trying to throw in a laugh. No, whatever.
a very long-winded point is that when people say that Marxist thought and cultural Marxism is influencing all of the problems we are dealing with today, they are not just making stuff up. All of these words came from the mouths of the leaders of Marxist thought and postmodernist thought. And they have been saying this for a long time. They set up all of the conditions to create modern feminism and deconstruct the family. So now that we know where all of this nonsense
Wendell just
started,
came in like a wrecking ball.
family and, logic itself, in my opinion.
Like Katy
And
Perry
we're,
Wrecking Ball?
Sorry, one minute.
Katy Perry wasn't the wrecking ball.
And you are aware
was
of
Miley.
the ratio of
Miley.
far-left
My
protesters,
bad.
even just moderately right-wing protesters.
Wrong, terrible
You
pop
likely
singer.
Really, you two?
Sorry.
No, I'm laughing at the chat. I
The
wasn't
stupid
laughing.
is killing me.
I know. Let her
Need
keep
a
talking.
break.
She gets better. She gets better.
understand
Oh, God.
how these
I bet
ideas
she has
spread
to.
so
There's
quickly
no other way to
through our
go.
Institutions. If you look at this, liberal professors outnumber conservatives nearly 12 to 1. And I put another
That's because liberals are usually secular, and seculars usually value freaking knowledge and education more than a fucking conservative does. And if a conservative is in a university, they're going to be teaching fucking theology. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't help
No,
it if your
okay.
side's fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, I got it. You're absolutely right, and I got to validate this as someone who's at a university regularly. So, yeah, the
It's-
vast majority of people in a university are liberal.
Yep.
And what? It's because they're open to new concepts. That's the entire point of university.
Mhm.
There are conservatives on campus. Guess what? If they're not open to being incorrect or adjusting their worldview, it's a make or break situation. You will either be accepting of challenging your own ideas or the consequences of possibly being wrong about something, which are basically none. I mean, what's the problem with that?
Historically, conservatives are not going to be that way. That's why if they
Right.
are going to be
Yeah.
in a university type setting, it's going to be a private one.
Yeah,
Because
and that's what I mean by make or
they're gonna
break.
stick to the more conservative ideas when it comes to education. Now, if you want to
Yeah.
if you want to deal with that, if that's what you want, go to one of those. But the bigger the university, the more liberal the professors are. I understand with the current climate we're in, they're crazy. We know this. They are coming off with some crazy shit, but they are going to be the more educated in this argument. Just across the board. They're going to have higher
Right.
education. That's why we are so
Yes.
fucking critical of them, because we know they're not stupid. They're just being they're tying in emotions and getting into identity politics and getting away from education and actual knowledge.
And This
So
kicks back to
Exactly.
what Rick was saying earlier.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody to counterbalance.
yeah,
them.
there's no
Yep,
balance there.
exactly.
It's
So-
just concentrating
Right.
all of that power and authority in the
Yep.
scope of this university in this select group of crazy people.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's why
so-
we've got to
right,
get into the
exactly.
asses of the conservatives and bring back education is important. If you are not going to allow your brain to be flexible and take in ideas that may seem scary to you, like there's not a fucking God, then you're going to run up against a wall. So we do need conservative professors in universities. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, and I can say, so like as a personal example, the university system that I'm in right now, the political science department is very much right wing. And that is a great counterbalance to some of the other social sciences. Specifically, so like within sociology, here's my N of 1, my sample of 1. There was someone who was in the program, the graduate program, who is very much Christian and religious. And I was having a conversation with him, and within the span of less than 10 minutes, he went through climate change is a hoax, evolution's a lie, and Marxism is basically the devil.
Mm-hmm.
He completely misunderstood the entire thing. It's like, this guy is going to go one of two ways. He's either going to be more flexible in his ideas and try and be more understanding of reality, be open to the possibility that he's at least somewhat wrong or misinterpreting things, or he's going to hold fast to what he wants to be true, and it's going to break him and he will drop out. And within 3 months, he dropped out. So this thing with the university stuff that people like Lauren Southern love to push, it's not this conspiracy of like liberals taking over universities. No, liberals by their definition of the description of liberal, they're more open. They're more open to like their trade openness, like Jordan Peterson loves to talk about.
That's why they come up with
They're
so
more
many freaking
open.
crazy, whacked out ideas because they allow their mind
Yeah.
to be open
Right.
to crazy, whacked out
Right.
ideas. Now, if they
So
subscribe
that's
to
it.
it, that's when we have a problem. That's when we have discussions. Okay,
Exactly.
Liberty University. That is ridiculously a conservative college because it's religious. How many liberal
yeah.
professors are there? How many
Right.
liberal professors are there? Not because they aren't allowed, it's because their ideas are not going to be supported. They're gonna hit a brick wall every single time. Now, conservative professors may meet up against a similar brick wall in a university, in a liberal secular university, but they're coming up a completely different brick wall. It's only because they're saying no. The conversation stops here. But at the same time, liberals are doing the same thing. They're going, no, this speech is unsafe. It's hate speech. Blah 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 blah. So they're both fighting against each other. Conservatives need to get off the freaking religious bullshit and respect science. Liberals need to calm down on identity politics.
Exactly. So
That's
it's
it.
sort of like a quick insight into the more faculty level of things on a university campus. So if you're faculty, it doesn't matter, what level of professorship you're at. There are expectations of you in your job as far as publishing goes, what you research. The lower you are in the sort of totem pole, the less sort of say you have in what your research consists of. And people will get ousted. So like I just talked about with the political science department I'm in, or not in, but at the university I'm involved with, being conservative. I know someone personally who was a more definite liberal in that department, and she was ousted because she didn't do the research they wanted to do. Her sort of presentations and sort of conclusions of her research didn't reflect well on the department wanting this sort of more, the positions that the other professors supported. There's definite social pressure within every department, and it's segregated. Departments do not cross over well. So again, it's not this liberal conspiracy. And you're right, Kari, that's why you get the fringe. Trait openness is a good thing until you get too extreme and you're not willing to criticize or analyze yourself.
Yep.
That's the line.
Yep.
So that's why the humanities, and especially philosophy in particular, hold fast to the sort of more reasonable left. So they're open to sort of constantly analyzing things and challenging their own conclusions, but they also are self-aware enough to not go off the rails.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Over here, which is actually a very scary chart. A breakdown of the commencement speakers of the top 100 universities. I thought originally that green part was conservative speakers, but no, that's just affiliation unknown. The red 9% is conservative speakers. The 67%, all liberals. So our institutions have been completely controlled by people that buy into this kind of postmodernist leftist thought, which is how it spread through young minds so quickly. So tenured radicals made their way into our education system and have been pumping young kids full of Marxist thought in the name of feminism, socialism, equality, or even just kindness. But the background of these terms...
Are we just going to equate all of those? What the fuck? Okay, whatever. At this point, we're never going to get through this if I constantly just stop her.
Just let her keep talking. No, just let her keep talking.
Used as excuses for their indoctrination is far more sinister than it sounds, and obviously comes from an ideology that has been responsible for the deaths of hundreds of millions of people. Communism, and quite frankly, it is an ideology that has
Even she doesn't
no
believe
interest
that.
whatsoever in the well-being of women, but instead it has
Stutter.
the motive of constantly pushing the narrative of oppressed and oppressor. As they did with the proletariat and the bourgeoisie, they do with the man and the woman, they do with the trans and the cis, they do with the black and the white. It is not hard to put the pieces together that all of these movements are linked. So what's next for these Marxists? Well, in the near future, these Marxist radicals are planning a summer of violence. All of July 2nd rather, all across the country, they are planning.
Just a side note, the Maoists in particular are in favor of a bloody revolution.
Anti-Trump riots. After all, we are the fascists that need to be stamped out by the Marxists, and they need to eliminate us by any means necessary. The internet, luckily, has weakened their monopoly on historical narrative, and people are waking up to ideas beyond egalitarianism and nihilism. So since these people cannot win the war of ideas, violence is their only recourse. Expect them to keep attacking truth in the name of fighting hate, ending sexism, fighting xenophobia, and of course expect to hear lots about bashing the fash. Now, at the institutional levels, Marxists will continue to forcibly rewrite history in an attempt to orphan us from our past. America is never great, you will repeatedly hear in our classrooms. There is no such thing as a French culture, according to France's new president, Emmanuel Macron. You will hear that repeated country after country. America was
Now
built
she's being
on the backs
topical.
of slaves. You'll hear that one a lot as well. They will continue pushing these narratives at schools, colleges, and universities. History is the constant march of liberalization, and liberalization is progress. There is a reason that they call it progressivism. And they will keep telling us that any form of oppression is bad, even if that alleged oppression increases the living standards of the oppressed. To which European colonialism
You really just
was
say
a
oppression is
godsend
not
for
bad.
nearly all colonized people, but you'll never hear that from Marxists. The allegedly oppressive institution of marriage created the happiest, healthiest, most peaceful societies, but you will never hear that either.
Bullshit.
Okay, what the hell are you talking about?
Me and you are pausing. Stop hitting the button. We're gonna fight over who's gonna pause it.
We're gonna fight over the
That is
button.
bullshit. That is such bullshit. No,
Okay.
marriage. No, marriage was it was a contract to begin with between one family
Right,
and
it's just
another. It was an exchange of property. We have molded it into a relationship between a man and a woman. See what we're watching in it with Islam. They're still stuck in that whole trading of property, propagating their families and shit, or their ideology and shit like that. We've moved past that, so it's more about a relationship now. It doesn't mean it is the healthiest. It means it's the most successful for
Right.
breeding.
Yeah. No,
It's time
exactly.
for a segment.
This is a form of hierarchical control, and ironically, Lauren's being the regressive in the sense that she wants to return to this hierarchy
Yep.
of control
Yep.
that is unfair to women.
Absolutely.
What the fuck? All right.
We're gonna play
Next-
a really,
next-
really short game of.
No, go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Did you know history? The whole idea, just playing off of what you were saying about marriage being a contract, the whole idea of romantic love and a romantic relationship was born out of, I think, 12th and 13th century aristocracy.
Yep, exactly.
Because the women had way too much time and nothing to do.
Mhm.
And they didn't particularly care for their husbands.
Yeah, that's where the novels and stuff started to come in. Because those type of women needed that kind of entertainment. So that's whenever you started to get
it was entertainment and escapism to them. It was
Yep.
never supposed to be a real thing. It was
No.
how they were coping with what they had to do as part of their contract.
Yep, absolutely. Because they couldn't get divorced, so they had to figure out their lot. But marriage is not a fun. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Adam, marriage is not a fundamental building block of society. Marriage is going to give you two stable parents that may or may not produce children, but that does not mean you're going to have a stable society just because you have people. I mean, fuck's sake, look at South America right now. They have a shit ton of people that are married, but still.
The family is the building block, but that's not necessarily something that requires marriage. Marriage is specifically a contract.
Yeah. It's the relationship that comes because of marriage, I guess, is maybe what he's trying to say. But you don't, going into a marriage, if you don't already have that stability in that relationship, which most people don't, if you don't already have that between each other, then it's going to fail. So marriage isn't the answer. It's going to be the relationship between the two people.
Yeah, exactly. It's what I was saying before about it doesn't matter your sex, gender, or sexual or sort of social like sort of role play doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's how good is the balance between you two, or if you're poly more than that. That's all that matters.
Poly relationships don't last long.
Yeah, for that reason, it's too hard to balance.
That and someone gets shot.
Oh. Oh. Go for it, Josh. Just go for
I'm
it.
just trying to get you. I'm just trying to get you some strikes.
Thanks. Appreciate it. That's not gonna get me a strike. That's old news. He got upgraded to first degree murder.
I saw.
Mm-hmm. The skeptic feminist is who we're talking about.
You mean his 2 years in reserve where he didn't serve active duty wasn't enough to give him PTSD?
No.
I am so surprised.
No, it wasn't. It is awful. No fucking Jesus. Anyway, okay, let's let Miss Bottle Blonde keep talking.
It is bad, it is outdated, because it is the current year. And they're not going to have much else to say about that.
Look at her eyebrows. She's not a freaking blonde.
Economic genocide through control of the
Well, yeah.
financial system. Everything you need to raise a family continue to get more expensive. Housing, education, healthcare, everything that enables a single promiscuous lifestyle will continue to get cheaper. iPhones, fashion accessories.
She's attributing
abortions.
motive.
This is all strategically planned out.
Are we headed toward the Jew? Are we headed toward the Jews with this?
Illuminati lizard people.
Drop.
Holy
I'm
shit!
waiting
It's
for
getting
it.
close.
I'm waiting for her to go full Richard Spencer.
Is this the
Turn the
slut?
frickin' frogs gay.
Sorry.
Destroy our cultural traditions by
Thank you. No, I mean that I think this is where an alt-right person would grab a hold of what she just said and go, "Oh my fucking god, it's the banks, it's the money, the Jews they control it all. They control it." And that's where they just make a hard left into just
Here
crazyville.
comes the slippery slope.
Yeah.
We can explain why land is more expensive. We can explain why the American healthcare system is shit. We don't need to attribute malice or intentional abuse of the system.
Yeah, let's ignore human behavior entirely.
When human behavior and stupidity are enough to explain it.
importing invasions of immigrants who do not share our culture. So how do we compete with this? Well, we compete with this by constantly reminding
Fuck Islam, by the way.
ourselves of who we are.
Who is
Lest
Clam?
we forget, again, that there is indeed a French culture. America was built in the European tradition by the engine of American ingenuity. And Europe is not just a massive land. These things are important to remind ourselves because they are constantly being stamped out of us. And while the Marxist elite continue to push their Marxist agenda on us, I can assure them, while they may have the institutions right now on our TVs, the right will always at least control the memes of production.
I call faults because I'm left, no matter what, I'm left, and I've made some pretty damn good memes. And
Wait. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, she's trying to take the credit for the memes. No, girlie, you got to the game a little late. You showed up whenever Pepe showed up. We've been here for a while.
Right. By the way, just as kind of a quick side note, so just so people kind of pick up on this, pay attention to this. So memes are not just sort of like fun or harmless type, whatever, trolling kind of stuff. They're a form of propaganda, and I don't mean that in a slanderous sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I do not mean that in a pejorative sense. I mean as in active measures. They work that way. That's why they're called that. I mean, that's a legit term from, like academic disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
They have a method of influencing people. It may look fun. It may, kind of have this sort of like camaraderie, like ha ha ha, that, you get with people that think like you out of it when you post it. But no, it's an influence campaign.
Yep.
Just be aware of that.
The reason modern memes work is specifically because they're following Alinsky's rules for radicals. The
Exactly.
right has finally appropriated leftist culture in the form of getting these memes, and they're following the basic rules of making sure that they're enjoying what they're doing, changing their tactics, adapting to the opposition, and being subversive.
Getting a sense of humor, basically. That's it.
It's a weaponized sense of humor serving political agenda.
Oh my God, freaking Ricky, mute yourself when you type. Adam and Annie are like flipping their shit. Typing.
My keyword's badass. Deal with it.
I like the sound of it, but they're trying to listen to the video, so
Alright.
some people get triggered by that shit. Triggered. I said it. I did. No, I'm not an SJW. Fuck you.
And with humor and wit, we have already managed to create an entire movement destroying their programming. Humor has always been a great vehicle for distributing knowledge. And with our wins on this battleground, young people are becoming ever more skeptical of Marxist thought every single day. And I also truly believe that we will compete with Marxist wealth redistribution that is happening within all our governments right now. Oh, that's an important one. With things like cryptocurrency. I actually just bought a ridiculous amount of Dogecoin the other day for no particular reason. And if you have no idea what I'm saying right now, I'm probably not the best person to give a speech on central banking and the Federal Reserve, but
you're gonna try.
Suggest familiarizing yourself with its history if you have the attention span. Definitely check out the.
I'm not, but.
Definitely check out the book by G. Edward Griffin entitled The Creature from Jekyll Island. And if you're a bit
I'm not an expert, but I'm going to recommend this book.
It's like that conservative bullshit from a few years back that's kind of rearing its head right now. I'm not a scientist. But here, let me speak on things like climate change and make policy around it.
Hey, it works for Bill Nye.
Yeah, right.
Dream. And will we continue to compete with this far-left agenda through memes and increased financial independence, we will also expose their cognitive dissonance.
Oh, the irony.
We can see that the world isn't what they tell us it is. It can't be
Wendell took care of that
because what
problem.
they claim as truth is not even internally consistent. Gender is a social construct, but transgenderism is real. Transgenderism is real, but transracialism is not real.
Okay, I got to say something about this because this hits home. So this whole thing with Hypatia, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a valid point. So for those who don't know, just quickly, Hypatia is the name of this philosophy journal. It's kind of fringe. It's like it doesn't really get a lot of attention. But it's legit in the sense that there's peer review. So someone wrote an article for that journal, and it was accepted, that basically said, look, if we're going to accept the concept of transgender and sort of the gender fluidity, then by definition, we also have to accept the concept of transracialism. And there were some damn good arguments in that paper. And a bunch of people flipped their shit, including academics, which was disgraceful. They wrote a letter to the editor of that publication, including some of the people on the editorial board. And props to the editor. As much as I disagree with basically the existence of that journal, she told him basically to fuck off. She defended her position to publish it, refused to retract it. So this specifically, yeah, she's got a point. And so I just wanted to be fair to her.
Race is a social construct, but being white is inherently a bad thing. It's getting a little confusing.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Truth is subjective, but anything that doesn't bolster their narrative is both objectively wrong and objectively hateful. None of this makes any sense.
Yep.
So we can simply point and laugh while they lash out in rage.
That just vibrated my brain.
Clothes is a hate factor for them. Their positions are inflexible with logic, so they shut down intellectual discourse with pyrotechnical hysterics and hypnotic mantras. And they will continue to repeat them over
And there's
over
Orwell.
over again every time they're
I
asked
knew
a
it.
question.
I
Diversity
knew
is
it.
our strength. Diversity
We should
is
have made a drinking game out of this and placed our bets at the beginning.
No.
I saw it. It was on her brain since she opened her mouth. I saw it.
Oh, I'm going to get to Orwell. This is going to be
Despite
so
all
good.
their awareness, allegedly, they do
I'm gonna
have
red pill
a
the
sense
normies.
of humor. Because in order to have have a sense of humor about the world, one must be in touch with its nature. And there is no one more out of touch right now than the global elite and the virtue signaling.
The fucking global elite.
Now,
Good
we are in the
God.
process of using some of these methods to compete with the dogma of cultural Marxism.
Come on,
And I
please
think
say
it is a
Soros.
good
I will
time
die
right now to
laughing.
remember our
There's a
victories
grain
that
of
we had
truth.
against them, because we have had a lot. First of all, Pepe, who started out as a sort of meme against political correctness, was declared an enemy of the state by Hillary Clinton.
Because
that speech was hilarious.
Hillary Clinton is a jackass, obviously.
Her
Good
meltdown
point.
on the alt-right was hilarious. I loved that
Bazinga.
speech.
Oh,
Oh my god, that's so bad.
the deplorables, the basket of deplorables.
Yes.
It's like what?
Basket of Deplorables is sort of like my new favorite one, right after Romney's Binder of Women.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
And Pepe's original creator, Matt Fury, recently killed him off in the comics in a desperate last attempt to reassert control over what he believes to have become a symbol of hate. Yet, of course, no one man can kill Pepe, and right-wing frog memes continue to live on stronger than ever. You may have heard that recently a paper was published to great acclaim in the social sciences journal called Cogent Social Sciences. It was called The Conceptual Penis as a Social Construct.
Wait a minute, what journal was that? Did she name it?
Have you not seen it?
Did you hear it?
This was hilarious.
It is funny. It is so funny. We can watch the video in a second.
I was trying to catch the name of the journal she's talking about because I kind of was hinting at before, a lot of people that have this agenda to push will look for anything published. And guess what? Not everything published is good in the sense that it has. So here's a way to tell just off the cuff if some kind of article in a journal is a good thing to go to, even if you don't understand the subject material. Look at how many citations it has. If it has like 5 citations, there's a good chance it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Just keep that.
That was the point. Here's the really short point of this article. This was actually submitted as a gaffe. It was intentionally mocked up to show that this publication would publish anything.
Yep.
That's great. I want to know what the publication is, just for curiosity's sake. So we'll get to that, I'm sure.
I'll find it.
Among the claims made in this most esteemed paper were that manspreading is akin to raping the empty space around men. The conceptual penis is abusive toward women and gender marginalized groups, and the conceptual penis is responsible for climate change. That's right, the conceptual penis is responsible for climate change. Now, Marxists thought this was great. This was a wonderful piece of acclaimed work until they found out the entire thing was a hoax. And now they're decrying it as hate speech. Of course. The big victory is that they cannot stop our ideas. They cannot stop our humor. We are defeating them at every turn, especially when it comes to social media.
I can hear
And
you,
when it came
Ricky.
to Berkeley, we were even defeating them on the streets.
You're typing.
The reality was that we were
I'll have
able
to find an
speak
archive
truth
link
there
for that
without
article
being shut
because
down.
it's
We
been
did
pulled
not
down.
Yeah, that's what I was
violence,
just
but
finding.
We did not back down.
It was on
And that-
Cogent.
Yeah, it was Cogent. I'm trying to figure out. I think it was Bearing that did a video on it. So once we let her finish,
I'm listening, but I'm typing, so go ahead.
no, you're good.
I think
Once
I
she's
think I
done,
found it.
yeah, once she's done spewing, then I'll do a screen share and we can look over it. It's really funny.
Okay.
The front of ideas did not become their safe space, and we will not let it. Also, we must remember that to these people, everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is offensive. Everything they don't like is a hate fact. Even if they can no longer muzzle us, they will continue to remind us of this every day with their names and their signs and their poop emojis outside. Which is why, over the past year, we decided to completely reject their framing overall. We label ourselves deplorables with pride. We will not be concerned with their racist accusations or their sexist accusations, which came from, were literally invented by Marxists. These words have no meaning.
Ignore that crap. No, the reason, Lauren, that you're called deplorable isn't because there's this issue with the left, the extreme left that you reject. The reason you're called deplorable is because within your own ranks there are people like white nationalists
Ooh,
and
yes.
isolationists. That's why you're called deplorable. You're associated with those people, like it or not. It has nothing to do with the lunacy of the far left.
Mm-mm.
Words have no meaning to us anymore. We are no longer their useful idiots. These are just a few of the
You're
many,
somebody
many
else's useful
victories
idiot.
we've had in the past couple of years against Marxist thought. But I will say that memeing, regaining financial control, and exposing hypocrisy of these Marxists is far from the most important thing that we can do to defeat their dogma and win this culture war. In fact, even with wins in all of these categories, we will still lose if we do not regain control of our own lives and our own relationships. And this brings me back to my original point on the topic of the traditional woman. We will lose as a society if we do not gain control of the traditional family, for they and the children they create pave the future. Reasserting control of traditional and logical values in our own lives will have the single greatest impact on the world. Because it is easy enough to post online all day about how other people are silly and wrong and how politicians need to fix things for us. But truly the best thing one can do is to make independent decisions, to pursue responsibility in your own life, and to promote it in your community. So while we can celebrate our wins, I'm going to change from that one. I don't want the penis thing up there anymore. So while we can celebrate our own wins so far, we must reassert the values that built the West and every other society worth a damn. And no, traditional values are not second-wave feminism. They're not first-wave feminism. They aren't any form of feminism at all. It's time for us to abandon this fetishistic, suffocating religion of equality that we have. Men and women are different, and any talk of equality between them is a lie, is a myth, is a hoax. We have different biology.
I agree with that.
We have different brains, and we have different roles in our lives. And we need to come to terms with them and our respective purposes. This means a return to traditional marriage. Instead of giving every 16-year-old girl the go-ahead to sleep around with the whole basketball team, why don't we promote things in their life that makes them happy?
I'm sorry, but that was very specific. She sounds like she's referencing something from her personal life.
Happy, which means throwing out the Cosmo magazines and educating children in the facts of sex and happiness, and hoping they can have meaningful, lasting partnerships in their future. When told we should study or get a job to have a more successful life, we don't start screaming about how it is our right not to do that. Of course you have that right. It's just not a very clever idea. We as a society must translate this attitude towards our relationships and our gender roles and our sex life. Because, well, these things like rights are important, we still have responsibility. And these things are just as important as our careers, if not more so. So we should take the same careful processing and planning that we do in these other aspects of our life. And for women, yes, this does mean embracing roles as wives and mothers. Now, we're getting to the part of the speech where I know some people are going to get pretty mad with me. The pie is here.
Getting to?
And I'm sure a few people in the crowd are already thinking up in their head how they're going to stump me by telling me, Lauren, you're not pursuing a traditional life. You've got a job. What are you doing? You're right, but I would be stupid to look at all these statistics, all this data, and not plan on having kids myself. I do, absolutely. Girls, there's no purpose more noble than motherhood. And I'm so sorry that people have cheapened our calling and have turned generations of women into zombieless cat ladies.
I just want to point out that she's behaving almost exactly like the feminist that she's railing against here.
She absolutely is. Absolutely.
Because she's saying, I want to have children, just not right now. I want to have children, but it's going to be in the future. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what the feminists that you're complaining about say.
Yep. And she's simultaneously judging them for saying the exact same shit she's saying.
Yep.
They're just being more vocal about it and a little bit more extreme by trying to get other women to make the same decisions that they are, which is exactly what she's doing right now. Why can she be the arbiter for women and what they should and shouldn't do? She's a fucking baby.
Yep.
who has absolutely no experience in any sort of these situations. And when it comes to these topics, experience does matter. So whenever somebody's going to say, oh, Kari's going to go the feminist way and say, because I don't have a vagina or a uterus, I can't comment on it. Yeah, you can comment on it, but you cannot relate the same way that I could. I've been married. I'm married again. I have children. I've given birth. So I've been through all of that. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that specific experience. She doesn't. And she's trying to represent herself as if she does because she's gotten a few opinions from some bitches who submitted some information on a goddamn internet poll. Most likely. Because she hasn't cited her fucking sources or science and where data and shit's come from. So, she's not the arbiter of women. She's a fucking conservative alt-light. She's an alt-right light. Whatever the fuck they're called. And that's fine. She's functioning on a worldview that comes directly from her own experience. And that experience does not involve being a wife or a mother. She could imagine it. She could listen to other women talking about it, but she's just not going to have that experience.
It's not even relatability. It's a form of knowledge. Just like I talked about before, there's different types of knowledge. She cannot possess the knowledge, for example, that you, Kari, have. She can't. She can maybe conceptualize it in sort of an abstract way, but that's not the same kind of knowledge.
I was the same way. Yeah, I was the same way she is right now when I was that age. So I know the position she's coming from. She still wants her freedom. Yeah. She still wants to be able to make her own decisions about what she's going to do with her career and who she's going to choose as a partner, a spouse, marriage partner, whatever you want to call it. So
I feel sorry for whoever ends up with her.
I'm going to go with no one. I'm convinced Lauren Southern will die alone. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm really convinced of that. No, there's different types of acquisition of knowledge through sense data. And that's exactly what's going on here. Lauren Southern does not have the experiential knowledge to know what she's talking about in the same way that Kari does. So it's not that she's wrong. It's that she's missing a type of knowledge. So in the same way that it's incorrect or maybe unethical to say, for example, a man should not have any kind of input on some kind of women's issue.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It doesn't mean that should right, but you have to recognize that his input is not going to be the same.
It's going to be limited. It's limited.
Right. He's limited just in the same way that Lauren's limited. It's the best she can do, but it's like, this is different. Maybe she could just try and be a little more ethical and shut her mouth. I don't know.
Or bring in women, or actually bring in women who do know about this topic. Say the exact same things that she's wanting to say, but they come from an authority on the topic. It's like, I'm not gonna go to some elementary science teacher to learn about evolution. I'm gonna go to Dawkins. So, I mean, that's just the way it goes. Now, I understand why they have her doing this talk, because she's popular right now. I get that, but I'm not going to take her seriously because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's going on assumption.
She's popular, she's young, and she's female.
Yeah, well,
it's those three things.
She's
popular, she's young, and she's female.
She's an ignorant female, and I can say that because I am an older female.
An older, slightly less ignorant female?
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So
Superior.
So I was on...
Fuck you, bottle belong.
So... She used to be with Rebel Media, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I was on Rebel Media's website earlier, specifically for this reason, to try and find their stats and methods. Because whenever you look at some type of academic paper that involves statistical analysis, it's crucial to look at that. You have to look at specific things to know that they're not fucking up somewhere. And that's why I can't find anything on Rebel Media's website or in Lauren Southern's presentations. It's just these things she throws out there, and it's like no one says anything. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's because they don't want to seem like the bad guy that's picking on Lauren Southern.
Yeah, it's like I typed in the chat earlier. Stats and methods. That's a sort of call out. Like if you're at some type of a conference where someone's presenting something, and it's like really not convincing, and you're like highly questioning it, you're going to ask for that information. You're going to want to see their stats and methods.
That's
And if
actually
they
the first
can't
thing I
produce something
check.
convincing, what's that?
That's actually the first thing I look for when I'm looking at any kind of research or anything like this. I want to know what the methodology is.
Excellent, awesome, because almost nobody that I'm aware of does that. So, like, if she's got a high standard deviation, if her sample size is low, like, it's going to be bullshit. It matters. You have to look at these things. You can't just stand up there and say them like proclamations.
Just statistically speaking, a woman would be hard-pressed to find a more important or satisfying role than motherhood. This isn't even me speaking. This is science, guys. And for those in the audience who are thinking, I'm the exception, every girl was taught growing up that she was the exception. And we were taught that this was our own idea, that we were the exception.
Wait, so if every girl was taught that she's the exception, that means they're the norm.
Yeah.
And you're the exception, Lauren. Just wanted to point that out.
We were the exception. The reality is that betting on the exception is usually not the best way to plan one's life, especially when it comes to something as meaningful as your future happiness and relationships. Women, for their happiness' sake, should embrace our native spheres of influence. Biologically, we are not as well built as men for the type of shallow transactional relationships required for statecraft. On average, our calling is within the domestic realm, where we offer warmth and compassion to our families. Traditionally,
Okay, sorry, fail. The women overwhelmingly are good at statecraft, specifically in diplomacy.
Absolutely.
And that is
You will not find more cutthroat females than you will when it comes to being in politics.
That's actually one of the few things where
if you go to the US, if you go to the US Department of State, I bet anything that the most successful diplomats by and large are women. There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
and that's not like anything to sneeze at. That's a really important thing.
It's just
it's the
women
verbal reasoning.
Yeah, women
That's
are
what they're
more
good at.
women are more intellectually inclined than men are. That's why I like doing this. I love to talk.
Right. So like men are better at negotiation in the sense that they're more aggressive, but guess what? In diplomacy, you don't want that.
Nope.
It's not the same thing as trying to get a raise. Like, you have to be able to like understand leverage, give and take.
Schmooze.
All these concepts that women naturally sort of figure out.
Men do not like to kiss ass. They just don't. Women don't mind kissing ass because we just don't have that complex in our head. We see it as obtaining a goal. We use a tool to obtain a goal. And that comes with our intellectual abilities. Now, that is what gets us in trouble a lot as well, because it's mind games. That's all it is when it comes to diplomacy. You're trying to appease the egos. Yeah. You're trying to appease the egos of your enemy, but make them feel like they're a friend. Women do that well. Men don't. Men go, fight me, fucker, and it's over. Fight me, and our differences are over. Women go, I don't want to fight you because it'll hurt, but I still want you to do what I want you to do, so let's talk. That's the way it goes.
Well, the most successful diplomacy is slightly aggressive. So here's an interesting tie-in. So the same reason that women get raises less often and in lesser amounts in the workforce than men is the reason that they're more successful at diplomacy than men. They don't go in there like, balls to the wall, guns blazing, and refuse to budge. They understand you have to be willing to give some if you're going to get anything. So it's not the same, like I said before, when you go on a job and you can be like, here's my offer, take it or leave it, or I'm out. You can't do that in diplomacy. So that's why you have women excelling in diplomacy, but not so much in the workforce and vice versa.
Hang on. Are you Card the Immortal? Whatever the fuck your anonymous goddamn name is in my chat. You're naturally good at whoring yourselves, LOL. So if you want to describe it so crudely as whoring ourselves as females, then sure. we'll call it whoring ourselves. The rest of us will call it participating in fucking society without being a goddamn douche. Jesus Christ. I'm being honest about female nature. That's all it is. I'm being honest about female nature. You're not going to find too many females that are going to be honest about it. Don't come in here slinging whore when I'm being honest, because that's going to shut the conversation down. So please, you want to make a joke? Make a joke. You don't have to say it's whoring. That's why feminists get the upper hand above you assholes. Let me guess. Are you MRA or MGTOW? And I bet you're a fucking bitter, angry one. Get the fuck out of my chat if you don't want to hear it. My husband's sitting here, he's telling me to calm down. No, I won't calm down. I won't.
No, he's already in timeout.
This is
Fuck this
bullshit.
guy.
No, don't time him out. Let him
No,
show
act like
show
an
his
adult or
colors.
Get out. I'm sorry.
So this is the
yeah.
reason why feminists have the argument that they do. Because dickheads like this come in and start saying stupid shit whenever I'm literally giving away secrets to females. I really am. It's not helping myself, because I'm coming out with it. And then you got an asshole going, so you're basically whoring yourself. Crude way to put it, but yeah, you're right. You basically run around with your nose up the ass of any female that shows any general affection towards you. You have your weaknesses as well. Fuck you. You don't want to be.
In the words of Warren Farrell.
You don't want to be called a fucking misogynist. Don't present yourself as one.
In the words of Warren Farrell, the only man to sit on the National Organization of Women on their board of directors more than one time, men's greatest weakness is their illusion of strength, and women's greatest strength is their illusion of weakness.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
I wonder what the overlap in that is. That'd be an interesting Venn diagram.
And that guy, see, it blows my mind. That guy doesn't even realize I'm actually on his side. I want guys to not be taken advantage of when it comes to like female and male relationships, because it happens a lot. It's terrible. But you come in here, start talking to a female that's saying pretty much the same things you are in your little boy groups, and start saying whoring and stuff like it shuts the conversation down. You just got an emotional reaction out of me. And that's going to make me hate you, because I don't like giving in to those things. Every once in a while I do. It's the female brain. We react emotionally. So
I think that's the human brain.
well, no, women are more likely to react emotionally when it comes to these kind of conversations, because we're more emotionally inclined.
Well, it depends on the type of emotion. So, like, estrogen will give you a different emotional reaction than testosterone, for example.
But don't get me wrong, he just got me heated. Like, my claws just extended. If he'd have been within arm's reach, I probably would have threw something at him. But only because it's irritating. It's so... why do we have to go through this shit to get to a fucking conversation? God damn it. I need to smoke.
I'd say there's a reason why women, despite all
Be
of our
stoic.
social programming,
I'm trying.
and all the subsidies to be like men, we still gravitate towards social sciences and psychology in universities. And no matter how much we are subsidized not to do so, we do it anyway. Traditionally, women have had a hand in building society from the bottom up by instilling their compassion and values into children. The compassionate acts as the counterforce to the cold, often brutal justice and logic of the masculine world, which unfortunately, of course, is a dying thing as well, but that is a whole other speech. The entire balance of feminine and masculine complementing each other has been thrown off, and we must find that balance again. Because if we don't have functioning families, we will not have a functioning society. And many of you have probably been indoctrinated into not wanting kids. I know if you asked me 5 years ago, I would have said I didn't want kids and I wanted to be prime minister. But in order to survive as a culture, we must return to putting long-term needs of society ahead of our immediate and fleeting primal urges. Family before self. The values of the West must be elevated above our petty narcissism. We as a society must learn to practice restraint instead of capitulating to animalistic impulses.
Quit fucking so much is what she's saying. Get out of my sex life, you freaking conservative bitch. What is it with conservatives wanting to tell people what to do with their genitals? Stop it.
What? Okay, so we got to zoom back from this a little bit. So that's one thing. The sort of
Look at that stupid face I
this is
posed
where
her
the
on.
horseshoe theory. This is where some of the sort of horseshoe theory type stuff has a little bit of validity. Is both ends of the extremes on this. So like Lauren Southern on the right and whoever on the left, they're both interested in telling other people how to live their lives.
Yeah.
That's why liberals, in the more truest sense of the word, hate these motherfuckers.
Oh, God, yes.
Because that's like, just keep to yourself. Really, if you're not doing anything that harms anyone else, don't go around telling people how to live. You're going to get decked, minimum.
Yep. Absolutely.
How do they not pick up on that?
I know how to behave in society, not to be able to push what I am and who I am onto other people unless they invite it in. So
yes,
I want the same respect from other people in society as well. It's like, you want to be a religious tard, you go for it. You do your thing. But do not put it in my face or tell me that it's a good idea for me to do it too. Because then I'm going to make fun of you. And then you're going to get mad because I'm going to call you stupid.
Well, it's like I always say. So whenever you're trying to analyze something like this, it doesn't matter what the specific subject is. Ask yourself, are the people you're talking about specific people in the situation, involved in it, are they okay with it, whatever the situation is? If the answer is yes, shut the fuck up. It's that simple.
That feels right. It's natural. I don't see the harm in it. Are all lazy rationalizations for short-sighted hedonism.
She's talking to 18-year-olds, apparently. Hedonism.
But I don't believe in promoting stupidity or a path
Pretty much.
that I know will lead to
So-
death.
Go ahead, Josh.
The target audience for her speech, as we've established, is women. She's talking to young women who are about her age, the 18 to 24 bracket. The whole reason she's even having this pointed conversation and trying to, I don't want to say shame them, but she's basically using shaming behavior and shaming language.
Mm-hmm.
The whole reason for this is because young men are increasingly withdrawing from young women.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole reason for this conversation.
Yeah, I agree. She is coming from somewhere with this. She's just freaking approaching it very, very badly. Very badly.
Lauren Southern, you make me vomit in my mouth a little bit every time you talk.
Why couldn't they get a smart person?
She was my internet waifu, and then she came out and said she likes romantic comedies, and that was it.
Oh God, a female
That
act
was
like a
it.
female.
Josh, we will convert you. You will like some rom-coms by the end of the stream.
The only rom-com that I know that I like is Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I do really enjoy Love Actually, because that's a really fun movie.
Yeah, I can second that. Those are both hard things to categorize, though. Like, I feel
Yes.
weird calling Lost in Translation a rom-com, because it's like a blend of like 3 different genres at least.
I never seen it as
Anyway.
as a romantic comedy. I just didn't.
You know what? To me, like, what I call that movie,
I
is
seen it as
just-
drama.
I call it haiku. That's what it is to me.
Yeah.
It's about life in general and the moment you experience, and then it's gone. That's it, and that's why it's beautiful. Anyway, just my thoughts on it.
You are so gay.
Oh, he's
I'm
definitely
so gay, I
no.
don't even
Ricky
like
is
words.
legit metrosexual. He is legit metrosexual
Yes, I am.
for sure.
Admittedly.
He's yeah. That's the only reason I'm saying it. It's because he has
I'm-
identified that way. Look, I'm doing it properly. Thank you,
Just a
SJW.
dash of gangster.
A dash of gangster. Oh no, you're just straight up gay now. You're just straight up gay.
You would never recognize me in real life, I guarantee it.
I don't recognize you at all. I've never seen your face. You look okay. Your avatar is what you look like to me in my head. Just so you're aware.
My avatar is what I look like when I'm in the academic environment. Other than that, you would never recognize me, I promise you.
Okay.
I wear Wranglers and 10-year-old t-shirts. So
I'm-
We've seen you in act.
I'm
I'm mystery man for now until life has my artwork.
Most people haven't seen me in too much clothing because most of the stuff my husband puts out there is kind of risque.
That's confusing. Oh, okay. You were meaning that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit
means
risque, but I'm
her
not
husband
gonna.
likes to brag.
He does. He
Risque
does.
or Rixie? That's
No,
Hey.
risque. So I mean, but there's a few people
That's my new-
like
that's
Josh
my
has
new-
seen me. Josh has seen me in normal clothes and stuff, like pictures and stuff. But I'm more like a hippie. I'm a legit liberal. Like I'm a legit liberal. Super flowy, girly, feminine. Love it. Smoke weed. Mm-hmm.
Especially the culture that allows for this freedom to be possible. And the type of society that we are encouraging right now, not you people in the room, but of course wider society, is based on
you just say
hedonism
you
and
people?
destructions of facts surrounding gender
Yep.
and relationships. It
The word
a
is y'all.
transgression against nature that whether one likes it or not is
No.
not going to last.
You is
History
already
knows
plural.
of no civilization born out of sexual liberation, but it knows of many blown apart in its tempest. Whether you consider
You dummy, do you know what sexual liberation was? It was just women acquiring freaking birth control.
That's really all that it was.
That is it. It doesn't mean you get to go sling your vag around everywhere. It just meant you had more options.
That's a great phrase, by the way.
You're welcome.
Sling.
the
I'm
Bible
gonna
to
quote
be
you on that.
allegorical or
Slinging
literal
badge.
truth, the stories of Sodom
It's like
and
dope,
Gomorrah
only better.
served as a dire warning.
Jesus Christ, she's gonna go to Sodom and Gomorrah. No.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not.
Next, she's gonna go to Greece. She's gonna go to ancient
And
Greece.
there was hellfire and damnation did
And-
rain down upon them.
They turned her into a pillar of salt. The dumb bitch looked
And the
back.
Lord was mad. Can I get an amen?
Oh,
You're a
fire
little
and
too good at
brimstone.
that.
Put $1 in the box.
Hallelujah. Amen.
I swear to God,
brothers
if
and
she
sisters.
goes to Rome, I'm gonna cut a bitch.
You know she will.
She will.
For us. We know how this ends. Before Rome was overrun by barbarians, it was weakened with no-fault divorce, sexual
Shots.
liberation, and rampant
She did it.
degeneracy. So either we return to the values of traditionalism that made the
Or we perish. Or we all turn into pillars of salt and sodomize each other. and
You fucking
the
Medusa's.
Jews will win.
West great again and made us happy, or we cease to exist as a civilization.
See? We all
And that
die.
starts with the traditional woman. On a lighter note,
So she's telling young girls, stop fucking, get married, and then fuck your brains out and make lots of little white babies.
And I'm telling
We will
young boys,
continue.
walk away.
Yeah. Don't
Oh
do
my
it.
God! Learn about contraception, please, please. You will
I don't think
save
she has
yourself.
time to hit contraception. There's only about 20 seconds left in this.
Yep.
No, just people listening. You will save yourself 18 years or more
We
of
will troll
pain.
their sacred journals. We will create the dankest memes filled with the most hateful of hate facts. We will pursue truth. We will trigger an intellectual climate-changing global snowflake meltdown, the likes of which the world has never seen. And we will
And that will instigate a flood, right? And there you go. There's your flood story. Noah's Ark is correct. God is real. We all lose. Fuck.
Hallelujah.
Atheists are wrong. We're wrong.
Yes, lame jokes are awesome conclusions, Lauren.
God damn.
Great.
inflict subversive levels of butthurt and shame. And while trying to save the West together, we will have goals never before considered.
My dear, please let me inform you. You and your little group of Pepe meme makers shall not be the saviors of the Western world. You will not. You just won't, because you think the sexual liberation means you get to be a slut, when it just meant women had access to freaking pill-formed contraception. You
Well,
fucking idiot.
Yeah, and this is sort
The
of like
sexual
component to
liberation was
that.
the divorce from the responsibility of childbirth.
Yeah.
They had an option to control their reproductive process.
Right, and when
So
you give
sex
us
became
living society,
recreational
that
instead of...
proves it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that was the end of my point. Sex became recreational instead of exclusively for producing families.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she doesn't even realize this, but she's actually taking herself out of the gene pool voluntarily.
Yep.
What?
Go for it. Be my guest. Be my guest.
What? No, say that again, because I didn't catch that. What? She's taking herself
So
out of the...
she's, yeah, so she's advocating for less sex, essentially.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying now. All right.
Yes, so less likely to reproduce, die off first, etc. Go for it, Lauren. Please raise that IQ.
Praise Cack.
Praise Tech.
Oh God! Of course, you ended it with that.
That's the end of her speech.
Yeah.
So that last 30 seconds,
drop.
that's the rights buzzwords. That's everything
Yeah.
from the alt-right that they have as a buzzword, as a counter to all of the left buzzwords that we've all come to know and love so well.
Yeah.
That was seriously her conclusion. Praise Keck. Mic drop. Like, what? No, you're supposed to have an argument there.
Methinks Lauren Southern does not know how to give a talk.
Oh my God.
So,
I think she needs to get her speechwriters back from the Rebel.
yeah.
What I would give to debate this woman.
So basically what is going on now, the conversation that is surrounding this whole little talk in this video, is people are comparing her to the same thing that like Islamic clerics and stuff are promoting. No sex before marriage. It'll keep you pure. It's safer for a woman. It's more healthier for a woman. And all those same things. I mean, she's hitting on the same points. Obviously, she's not being as extreme and damning about it because it's not really tied to a religious ideology like Islam is. But if you were to put them side by side, I mean,
The difference is she doesn't have any authority
No.
at all.
No.
And she's not telling people that you will do this. She's saying she's at least trying to present an argument for why you should.
but she's also
She's
using
trying-
the shaming
she's-
tactics that the
Right.
religious
She's
use.
using shaming language and shaming tactics. I agree with that. She's trying to present an intellectual argument. Whereas
I expect to hear
imams
an
will just come out.
from her.
Yeah. I agree. I
Like,
agree.
literally no argument was in this entire thing. It was
No.
just hyperbole and slander.
Yes.
But
I know what she's trying to do. She's
Yeah.
trying to be persuasive. She's not
Yes.
trying to be authoritative.
Yeah.
Right. And the problem is when rhetoric is fantastic as a persuasive device, the problem is when it's used like this, where there's no actual arguments, it's only rhetoric. You look like a clown. You've got nothing. But like with the Islamic thing, yes, that is perfectly accurate. And it's not just because, coincidentally they have things in common. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is conservatism in general is literally being less open or slower to change. That's why, even though there's extreme differences, they have traits in common in different degrees. So, people like Lauren Southern, they're more progressive than people in, say, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But they're both slow to adapt to change to some degree. That's literally what conservatism is. It's slow to adapt to change. That's why they have this in common.
Anthony, did you die?
We don't need 5 more seconds of applause.
Anthony, did you die? Where did you
I think
go?
he fell asleep.
He's still on the call. He's still there, but he's
Yeah.
He's asleep with his phone. He probably fell asleep with his phone.
no. He was
on
at
his
his
chair.
He was at his laptop. Jesus Christ! He's just gone. He's been gone for like
Probably got up
45
and-
minutes. If he's not in the chat, then he's not awake. So he's not in the chat. I don't know. So
Fell asleep and fell down the stairs.
Lauren Southern, God damn it. You jackass.
I understand the argument that she's trying to accomplish, but Jesus Christ. Stick to what you're
That's
good
funny
at,
because
girl.
she doesn't.
Go to the riots and go to the protests and stuff like that. Stick to your YouTube
Yeah,
channel. Don't stand in front of
She's great
Podiums.
at sensationalism.
Mhm.
That's it. Yeah. Literally the only valid point I could ever recall hearing from Lauren Southern is why you should oppose Antifa. That's it. I cannot name another one.
well, the stuff that she says against feminism and SJWs. That's pretty accurate. But that doesn't
Well,
take brains. That just
That
takes
wasn't the
common
topic of the
sense.
speech, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't
Yeah.
the topic of the speech.
Well, but when she talks, right, and when she talks about that, she just complains.
Mhm.
There's zero
Right.
argument. Whereas when she talks about Antifa, she does somewhat have an argument there going on. Like, if there's some structure to it.
Oh, gracious. Well, how long have we been at this?
I don't know. I don't pay attention because as long as it's enjoyable or
Yeah.
stimulating, I'm good.
2 hours and 53 minutes. Good gracious. For a 30.
Do you want to look at the? Yeah, for the 30-minute video. Do you want to look at the conceptual penis?
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah. What the hell is this? I want to see this.
I'm gonna screen share. Hang on.
Can we?
I'll
I'm gonna be right
screen
back.
share it on Skype and stuff too. Okay.
Okay, give me just a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a water. I'll be right back.
Oh, thanks. Just everybody leave me by myself with the sleeping man.
All right, I'll stick around.
No, go, Josh. I'm messing with you. I'm fine. You know I'm fine with talking to myself. No big deal. All right, share screen. Let me share my screen. Okay, so now everybody will be able to see it. But I'm not going to be able to see the chat. Let me grab the chat. Look, people, I'm looking at you in real time. Hello. Real time. Oops. No, I don't hate talking to myself. It's all right. No big deal. All right, where did the conceptual penis go? There's a conceptual penis. So if you guys haven't seen this, it was written up to look like a legitimate study and look like a legitimate paper, and submitted to. I don't remember exactly. Josh knows, but it was submitted and it was printed as an actual idea, and it's called the conceptual penis as a social construct. And I'll wait until those two get back to actually start reading through it, because, oh my God, it is fantastic.
So you sent this link in Twitter?
No, look at your Skype screen.
Skype?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh crap!
I need to pop out my chat.
Oh, it's a PDF. All right.
Then I will go back. Oh, I need to fix it on OBS real quick. Uh-oh.
There we go. I'm back.
All right.
Oh no, I
What
can't get
is this?
OBS. Hang on, I've got to share the screen on OBS too, so they can see it. Where did it go? Alright. So, can you guys see the, can you see it on the feed? On the actual YouTube feed?
I can see it.
Okay. I just want to make sure before we start talking about it. Okay. So it's called the conceptual penis as a social construct. Abstract.
Yeah.
Anatomical penises may exist, but as a preoperative transgendered women also have anatomical penises. The penis, vis-a-vis, thank you, maleness is an incoherent construct. We argue that the conceptual penis is better understood as an anatomical organ, but as a social construct, isomorphic to performative toxic masculinity. Through detailed post-structuralist discursive criticism and the example of climate change, the paper will challenge the prevailing and damaging social trope that penises are best understood as the male sexual organ and reassign it a more fitting role as a type of masculine performance.
Yeah, the big thing in the keywords there that should jump out at anybody who's actually reading this is climate change.
Exactly. Climate change. What in the hell?
If you guys could give me just a minute to look at the details.
Go ahead. Me and Josh we've already heard about this. So,
well, I'm highly suspicious. I don't mean about the writing. I want to look at these people's credentials, their methods, that stuff.
Well, the names on here are made up.
Yeah, these
are pseudonyms.
Oh, this is fake.
It's all fake.
The whole thing is fake.
But it's presented as real.
I was wondering why there was a Creative Commons license.
Yeah, it was posted. What do you remember? What website it was posted on, Josh?
Cogent.
Yeah, it was posted on.
It's at the top of this.
So what is Cogent? I don't know that.
They pose themselves as a peer-reviewed philosophy journal, I believe.
Oh my god. I will fucking kill someone if they're tarnishing the discipline.
They are. They are. So
They're a
bad.
peer-reviewed social sciences journal, and that's what they brag about. Anybody can submit papers and get peer review.
Wait.
And
Oh, dude, check this out.
the guy who wrote this, it was two guys. I can't remember. He's got a doctorate, and they mocked this up specifically to show that this website is bullshit.
Cogent social
Well, yeah.
sciences.
Right. So, okay. So right away, you're just like red flag that this is bullshit. Is the website is a .com. It depends on if you're selling it or not. But if your source, like let's say you look up these people specifically, and it's on a .com website, like let's say you pull up their CV and they don't have a .edu address,
Yeah.
right away you should wonder what the hell's going on.
Oh God, yeah. People don't pay attention to that kind of stuff, though. It's
Open
amazing.
access.
People
Yeah.
do not understand how to go and look for sources, cite those or cite sources, make sure those sources are legitimate, because it involves work. I mean, you have to go back like at least 10 steps minimum.
Well, what's that dude's name? I can't think of it right now. That sheriff that's ridiculous. That black sheriff that's always like tons of medals on it.
Yeah, Clark.
Clark, yeah, that guy. So he was. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but he was recently exposed as just like unbelievably plagiarizing his master's thesis.
Really?
Just from like at least 12 sources. It was insane. I looked through it and I compared it, and what he did was kind of like what we're talking about, that small things, but they're very important. So when you cite something, that's not the same as quoting it. So, if you gather, let's say you garnish some idea of some kind from another publication, that's when you cite it. If you're directly quoting them, that's not the same thing. And that's what he did. And that's called plagiarism. And that's called, I don't know, assholishness, but you can lose your degree and be blackballed from universities for that kind of shit.
Yep.
It's not cool.
The authors of this are Peter Boghossian and James Lindsay.
Oh, that's funny. Boghossian. Wait, Peter Boyle.
Boghossian. Boghossian.
No. I know who that is, but I'm looking at the screen and it says Jamie Lindsay and Peter Boyle. Am I misreading something?
They're fake.
They might have mocked up the names.
Oh, you're saying those are pen names?
No, the real name. They wrote as Peter Boyle and Jamie Lindsay.
Okay, yeah. Pseudonyms.
But their real names, it's Peter Boghossian and James Lindsay. I'm
not surprised then, because Boghossian is an interesting philosophy professor. I almost got to study under him when I lived in Portland.
Mm-hmm. And the whole point of this was to reproduce Alan Sokol's experiment from the mid-90s, where he got something published.
Nice.
And they obviously didn't even read it.
Yeah, okay. So here's another giant red flag. I'm looking at their website, and it's listing the features, or sort of what they see as the benefits of this journal, I guess, quote unquote. It says 100% open access, immediate free access, anyone can contribute, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's the antithesis of peer review. You want closed access. You want people that know what the hell they're talking about to review your work and be discriminatory in whether or not they accept it. Otherwise, it's just a fucking blog.
Right. The whole point of peer review is to put it through the gauntlet, to make sure your arguments and your evidence are bulletproof.
Yeah. Okay, so just as an example, if anyone ever goes for anything beyond a bachelor's degree, especially a doctorate, master's too, but more so the doctorate, if you go for your PhD, when you do your dissertation or whatever it is your research project consists of, your sort of final project, right? You present that in front of a board, and their entire job is to shred you for a reason. They will tear you down as much as possible and then give you your degree. And the reason they do that is to make sure that you're damn good at what you do. It's like a better version of peer review. But it's the same thing. So, like this kind of crap, it's like where anyone can contribute. That's like the equivalent of like when you have like these online courses that you can take that somehow count towards a degree. It's like it's not that they're completely useless, but ultimately there's like a ton of problems with that process.
I'm trying to stop screen sharing, but I can't. I can't remember how to stop screen sharing.
I just can't stop screen sharing.
I'm not kidding.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Where's it at?
It's because she's a woman.
Shut up.
Ooh.
No, no, I've done
if she
this.
were a man,
I've done
it'd
this
already
like
be done.
I've done this like 4 times, and now no, I'm just trying to stop screen
Go back
sharing
to
on
what you've done.
Skype. I can see this.
Get back in the
I love it.
kitchen.
It's like
Shut
flies
your
by.
face. I've already done it. Stop sharing screen. That's too damn easy. My husband just came over here and pointed to it. You guys win.
Do they have a
You
screen
guys win
exchange
the argument.
program?
Shut up.
You don't want to catch any diseases.
Shut up. Get out of here. I'll kick you out of this conversation. Damn it, I can't. This is your shit too.
Yeah.
Oh, I can kick you out, Josh. No, I can't because you're my friend. Damn it. Hey, I can kick Anthony out because he's asleep.
Yes,
I'm not gonna-
the penalty of never knowing.
Yep, he'll never know. I win. No, I'm not that mean.
This paper, that's some funny shit. I had never heard of that.
People
I'm
made
not
videos
surprised it
on
was
it. and
Bogosian
stuff.
that pulled it off. I'm not surprised that he was involved in that.
Yeah, I skimmed over the paper. It's humorous. It got some initial bad press. A lot of people in the anti community jumped on it.
Oh, God, yes.
Like feral dogs. They
Jesus.
were just hungry.
They were like, "Oh my god!"
That was the main reason this even got any attention, was because the antis were just drooling at the mouth for something like this to come along. I don't remember hearing like anything from the pro side or the SJW, whatever, the side that would have been elated to have this actually published. I
Yeah.
don't remember seeing them have much of a reaction at all. I think this had the exact opposite of the intended reaction. Like, it got the wrong crowd worked up.
Oh, I see. I was going to suggest that, I mean, this is just speculation because I just now know about it, but it sounds to me like on the surface of it, the reason it was probably not discussed in the sort of pro, whatever you want to call this, SJW type stuff, is probably because I've yet to see an SJW that looks into like actual legit academic research.
True.
I've
That is true.
seen some professors. Yeah. So I've seen some professors that kind of have SJW tendencies, but they're not insane like most of the people you encounter on the internet. So the chances of someone like legitimately, like on YouTube, for example, some blue-haired idiot pulling up a legit article in a legit journal and correctly understanding it and using it in an argument are next to none. I will be blown away if I've seen that somewhere.
I'm just reading the chat. Everybody's commenting on the conceptual penis paper thing. I couldn't read it while I was screen sharing. Yeah, it was.
I'd like to conceptually. No, I'm not going to.
You think of it, and it is conceptual.
Well, yeah.
There it is.
I'm conceptually hung like a. No, just kidding.
Oh no! I just completely deleted the chat. Everybody's gone. Damn it! Oh nope! It's back. All right, good. I popped it out earlier, and now I just closed it. So, any ideas? Any ideas bouncing around in your head for Thursday? Any topics that have come up?
Me specifically.
Yeah.
You're asking me.
Yes, I'm asking
Okay.
you.
Well, Josh, crowdsource.
Josh, is there anything that you would like to see anybody like talk about or cover that you just aren't seeing?
Oh God, I have no idea. I've been so nose to the grindstone with work.
Yeah.
I don't come on Twitter to shitpost.
Okay, how about this? So, and I want input from not just you two and Mr. Asleep, but if anyone in the chat wants to input as well. So, Kari and I were talking earlier, and this is something that I've sort of been working on as just like a side thing because I'm exploring it for a long time now, is the concept of intellectual property. Like, how does it have any merit? What are the arguments for and against it, etc.? What do you make of that, anyone? Is that something that would interest you? Do you think that would be a good topic?
I've actually thought a lot about that too, and I just go round and round in circles because
Right. Yes. I feel like I finally settled on somewhat of a position, but I don't want to state it now because I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But just as a topic.
Clarify for people who are maybe going, well, what do you mean by intellectual property?
Oh, okay. So it's actually pretty simple. Just the basic form of it is an invention. Mm-hmm. So, like, you can say patent an idea. That's intellectual property. Mm-hmm. Or things like rights to media, like music, movies, etc. That's considered intellectual property rights. Yeah. That's how they make their money. To trademark an idea, you can own a concept, the right to an idea, and then be compensated for it.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Well, I'm definitely interested in talking about it. Absolutely. Let's get away from race. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Or just.
Let's not talk about like AI.
I don't know about
Let's not do
else.
that. Because that makes me have panic attacks. No. That's where my mind closes off. That's where my liberal mind closes off, is AI. It's not that I'm against it. It's just my pea brain just can't do it. I can't.
Well, it's going to replace us one day. You know that, right?
Yes, I do. That's why I freak out.
By the way, Leica and I are legit going to do, just so everyone knows, Leica and I are actually planning to do a sort of future of technology stream, and AI will be included in that. Yeah, so we will do that. We'll post it whenever we're ready. It shouldn't be too far off, I would imagine.
I'm supposed to come and be a listener participant in that talk as well.
She mentioned that.
Yes, Josh, you are too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so it'll be all four of us.
I just didn't know if you two had committed.
Yeah. Oh no, I did. We're just with me getting sick last week and not confirming if I was going to be able to do anything this weekend. I mean, because like you and I, we weren't even sure if we were going to do it tonight.
Right.
But no, so yeah, whenever she decides to do it, of course, I'm on board because she does a lot of stuff for me as well. So, and we're friends, and I like to hear her nerd brain stuff go.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because Leica and I have a lot of similar interests and backgrounds. So we'll see where that goes. But so back to what I was saying though, just like topic wise. So Kari and I have been trying to just not just branch out, but just kind of almost divorce, I would say, ourselves from the sort of mundane topics that just get recycled over and over again.
Oh God, yes.
Like, I don't know about any of the rest of you listening, but yeah, there's some interesting things to talk about, but you can only talk about it so much. Like, I'm over things like I don't know. I mean,
identity politics. Identity politics.
Yeah, like, how many times can you moan about feminism? Yeah. How many times can you, like, there's so much overlap, there's so much burnout. I'm just not interested in that. And that's kind of what I was hinting at earlier at the very beginning, where I'm like looking at like real, like intense intellectual stuff on sort of the other side of my Twitter. And then I come back here and I see things like just insane shit like race realism or people just trying to like deconstruct modern feminism for the billionth time. It's like there's so many more interesting topics that we could cover.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to do that. Yeah. Kari and I are trying to do that.
That's why he and I have. That's why we've teamed up. That's why we teamed up, because I come from a more theological background, and he comes from the absolute opposite side. I mean, there are a few things that we kind of do disagree on. Like politically and maybe a little bit ethically, but it's not much. But it's just enough that we're not an echo chamber. We both are liberal, right. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, I just want to gas the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay, Neeb.
No. But at the same time, like with me and Josh agree on a lot of things. But he confuses the hell out of, well, he used to confuse the hell out of me whenever I heard about the whole MGTOW thing. I was like, what the fuck is this about? But he and I have talked for what, nearly 2 years now? And I understand.
Yeah,
I
right.
totally understand. I have a completely different point of view on MRA and MGTOW. Completely different now. I understand where
MRAs
they're.
are wasting their time.
Right.
They're
Well,
trying to
okay,
change
and
a system that they don't have the power to change. They're wasting their time.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
but
but
another
Walk
it
away.
breaks it breaks my heart at the same time because it's like I see what they're going through, and I understand that they're like it's a double standard, but it's reality.
right.
I mean, you can't
Men
change
are
you can't change the roles of females. You can't change the roles of males biologically. You just can't do it.
Well, you
men
So
are
can fight it, but it's
49%
not
of the
going to end well.
population
mhm.
and 45% of the voting base. They're not going to change anything. There's no point.
But Kari, you bring up a good point for everyone else listening, and Josh, I'm sure you've picked up on this. If we haven't said anything to you directly, I can't remember. But another big like component of the show that we're doing here is we want to have people with differing perspectives and opinions on things, but who are also civil and willing to discuss things like adults.
Do you know how many
Because
times people are like, talk to Angry MGTOW? I'm like, no, he is a child.
yeah,
No,
He's an
talking
abusive
past
child.
he's
right,
horrible.
not interested. Yeah, that's not interesting. Who wants to listen to that? People just bitching at each other. No, interesting, constructive conversation despite agreement or disagreement. That's what we want to do here. So that's one of the other goals.
And if you
Hopefully
can
people
make me
appreciate
change,
that.
if you can sway my mind or sway my opinion or whatever it may be, you're going to have the opportunity to. You'll be treated with respect. We will joke around. So if you don't have a sense of humor, I don't know what to tell you. But I want, I love to hear other people's thoughts. No matter how crazy they are. It's just human psychology fascinates me. It always has. So the internet is perfect for that because you don't have to come into actual contact with other people to actually come into contact with their ideas and their thoughts. It's a little more safe.
Sometimes
Right.
you still have to take 3 showers when you're done, though.
You're right.
Yes. I
Whoa.
can't tell you how dirty I felt after watching some of the crap on the internet.
Oh man. Come put yourselves in my shoes for a moment and go on a stream with nothing but alt-right men. I dare you. I
Oh my
dare
God.
you. I absolutely dare you.
That sounds like deserving of like ion bombardment more than a shower.
Oh my God.
We're
Well,
going to give you a nice chemical bath.
I was doing a stream with some alt-right guys, and it was pretty entertaining. I mean, I was learning some stuff, and I got to do a hangout or a stream with Sargon, so that was interesting. It just confirmed that he is a self-pretentious jackass. But he it did give me that opportunity, and which I'm very grateful for, and I've made a few contacts, some internet friends, you could say. But some shit happened like last week where somebody, after the stream was over, they whipped their dick out, and there was married women in that stream. So he just whipped his dick out, and it was like, oh, I wasn't in that stream, thankfully. But it's
Don't get me started on these assholes that send dick pics.
But it's
Fuck
like,
those people.
come on, really? Do you know? You don't understand. Whenever I go into a stream, I'm taking time out of my day and away from my husband, and we don't want dick slung around our face. Like,
He
no,
was being
thank you.
ironical and like telling a message and fighting the bourgeois or something.
No. I would be
So
just as
that's a
upset
perfect-
if a female did it. If a female freaking whipped out her boobs, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, put them away.
I'm waiting for the chat to rebel to that one.
Of course.
How is Mocha?
Josh,
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. She doesn't do that.
I know.
No, but
They
no,
are
that's-
doing a calendar, though, so I hear.
I know you were joking, but like that's a great example of what we don't want. in
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Like that's just childish. That's not fun or entertaining or constructive. Like how is that even remotely
And then they
enjoyable?
call themselves respectful. It's like, you fucking what? You slung your
Like
dick
that's
out.
like yeah, no, that's like
Respectfully.
playground,
I said
grade
respectfully
school crap.
first.
Jesus.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna respect the shit out of you.
No.
Oh my
And then they
God.
get upset whenever their viewers go, dude, what are you doing? What an asshole move. And it's like, nah, I'm good. I'll stay away from that. Thank you very much, because I'll screenshot you and then I'll show everybody.
Do it. It's the only way to punish these idiots.
Why don't
No, yes. So that's kind of what Karen and I are going for is adult environments.
woman
Giggity.
Interesting topics, civility, but constructive criticism, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
New topics, branching out. So if anyone ever has any suggestions, you could tweet at either one of us.
yeah,
or
get in
DM
touch.
Sarah
Yeah, get in
me,
touch
I don't
with Ricky at Shifty Risk. Get in touch with me at Mud Puddle. It's on the screen. It's in the description, or just leave a comment here. Let us know, and we'll cover it. We absolutely will cover it. I don't think I've come across anything too weird yet. But
Hey, maybe really riveting.
What?
Steve Shives.
No.
No one's ever covered that dude.
No.
It'd be pretty unique. We could do it.
No.
I think you should do a commentary on Sargon.
No.
Yeah,
that would be-
and then after
I
that,
think that-
we'll debate a creationist.
Yes.
Jesus.
Okay, gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap this up.
All right.
Say your goodbyes to the chat.
Goodbye, chat. Thanks for coming.
Fuck you all.
Thanks for coming and hanging out and listening to us just freaking punish Lauren Southern. You know what shit I'm going to get? They're going to be like, you're being sexist or this, you're internalized. Oh, she's not a feminist, so she's not going to say it's internalized misogyny.
Yeah.
Shit. What is she going to say?
No, she's externalized misogyny.
I think
she's just a
our
dipshit.
criticisms were entirely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. All right, people.
All right, get out of here. I'm gonna play us out with some music. If I can get it going, maybe. Just mute yourselves if you're gonna chat. Maybe I'll do this. Good God. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I appreciate it. We'll see you Thursday, because I'm not sick anymore.
Yeah.
Sounds like an SOS.
Holy whack, unlyrical lyrics, Andre. You're fucking right.
To the rap mobile. Let's go.
Bitches and gentlemen, it's showtime. Hurry, step right up. Introducing the star of our show. His name is You wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world right now. So without further ado, I bring to you You about to witness hip-hop in its most purest, most rawest form, flow, almost flawless, most hardest, most honest, known artist. Chip off the old block, but old Doc is looks like Batman brought his own Robin. Oh God, Saddam's got his own Laden with his own private plane, his own pilot. Set the blow college, dome moon doors off the hinges. Oranges, peach, pears, plums, oranges. Yeah, here come my inches away from you, dear, fear none. Hip hop is in a state of 911, so let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hey, oh, let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hey, oh. So skip to your loo while I do what I do best. You ain't even impressed no more. You used to it. Flows too wet. Nobody close to it. Nobody says it, but still everybody knows this shit. The most hated on out of all those who say they get hated on in 80 songs and exaggerated all so much they make it all up. There's no such thing like a female with good looks who cooks and cleans. It just means so much more. There's so much more. People, when you're rapping and you know what for, the show must go on. So I'd like to welcome y'all to Marshall and Andre's Carnival. Come on now, let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hey, oh, let's get down. known for people just to rush to the set just to get to see an MC who breathes so freely. Ease over these beats and be so breezy. Jesus, how can shit be so easy? How can one turn from be so